we had that big inning in the fourth to get it going.
Yeah, just a great win. So you put yourself right where you want to be, and that's in the winner's bracket. And now you come back today. After some delays yesterday, of course, you're going to take on Belmont Abbey. So this is a winner's bracket game, but you want to stay on that side.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to stay in the winner's bracket. It makes life a lot easier. But at this point in the year, anytime you play someone, winner's bracket, loser's bracket, they're going to be a good team, and Belmont Abbey's no different.
Right. So the situation is tomorrow, if you win this one, let's talk about what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, the loser of this game's got to play Pembroke tomorrow at 3:30, and then the winner waits for that game, and it'll be down to 3 teams. So the goal is right here with Belmont Abbey tonight, and we're trying to concentrate on what we do, play our game, play the style we played all year, and not get caught up in distractions and other things, and stay in the moment and play well.
You just talked to your team just before we started to do this interview, and you said enjoy the moment, but stay focused.
Yeah, I think sometimes in these situations you get a tremendous environment, an atmosphere here at the Smith Road Complex where people come, and it's fun to play here, but I think you can get caught up in that and trying to do too much to provide the excitement. And if they play the way they're capable of playing and play the style that they play, it's exciting enough, and then people enjoy watching it.
Yeah, and to watch them as we have this year, I think you can see it on their faces. They're excited, but I think they are focused.
No, I think so too. I think they're on a mission coming into it. But, you got to show up and play the game. So we need to get off to a good start here. We need to take care of the ball defensively, and then hopefully we get a good start out of Shinpire.
Yeah, Shinpire's going to start. I just talked to him. He looks like he's ready to go.
No, he's always ready to go. I think the biggest questions with him is the first inning. Sometimes the command is a little shaky at the beginning, but we need him to settle in quick and get us going.
One thing back, speaking of that, to Reamer, not just last night, but even up in Tennessee, when he got a little rocky a time or two in Tennessee and here last night, he just comes back and just settles down. He's very good at that.
Yeah, I think the MO of our pitching staff has been they've made their best pitches in the biggest moments to this point, and there's a lot of traffic on the bases at times, a lot of it self-inflicted, but they tend to make big pitches in big situations, and that's what the game comes down to. And then on the other side, we want to take our swings in those same situations and not try to do too much.
All right, a lot of accolades for you and your ball club in the last couple of weeks, but we want to keep it going. Thanks, Coach.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jim.
All right, that's Coach Russell Triplett, and we went ahead and played that right off the get-go there because this game is actually going to start a little bit earlier, Gary, than we thought.
No complaints from me, Jimmy.
No, absolutely not.
We've enjoyed the baseball games. We did sit around. Everybody did last night, and we are ready to go on the mound for the Belmont Abbey Crusaders. Their left-hander, his name is Grant Lohmeyer. Lohmeyer last season, 2022, was warming up before a game. His catcher threw a pitch back up the middle, hit Lohmeyer in the jaw, broke his jaw. He had several surgeries, came back this year, has a 7-0 record, and he was named the Carolina Conference Comeback Player of the Year. He works here to Donovan Ford, and Ford fouls off a pitch, and the count quickly 0-2 on Donovan Ford. Lohmeyer listed at 6'4". He's from Cincinnati. And I'll give you the numbers after this 0-2 pitch to Donovan. Donovan Ford leading off. Is kind of strange to see Newberry at home as the visiting team swing. That might drop, and it does. Base hit in the right field, Jimmy. And that's always a good sign when Donovan gets on.
Yeah, and if you wondered why the Wolves were batting first here, they are the visiting team in this game tonight. They are in the first base dugout, but they are the visitors. And these two teams playing in the winner's bracket of this Southeast region. And so the winner plays tomorrow night. The loser will play tomorrow afternoon at 3:30. More about all that coming up.
And I'll give you those numbers on Lohmeyer here in just a moment. Left-hander sets a pitch to Jacob LeBron down low for ball one. Lohmeyer 7-0. This is his 16th appearance, his 14th start. He worked 58 innings, struck out 60, and gave up 55 hits. And I'll set the Belmont Abbey defense here in a moment. After this 1-0 pitch to Jacob LeBron. Jacob waits a pitch. Jacob squares to bunt, gets it down, and it rolls foul third base side. Todd Vallada at third. Jack Boyles is the shortstop. By the way, Jack Boyles broke his throwing hand or had his throwing hand broken when he was batting back in March. So he's back in the lineup for the Crusaders. So both Lohmeyer, the pitcher, and Broyles have had to fight through some things. All right, Patrick Taylor at second, Ben Ferguson at first, Garrett Browder behind the plate, Connor Powell in left, Carter Duhame is in center, and Caleb Burr is in right field. And on the mound, the left-hander Grant Lohmeyer pitching to Jacob LeBron. The count 1 ball, 1 strike. Lefty working to a lefty, and it's a fastball up and in. And LeBron trying to bunt. You know, you and I were talking just really briefly during that last game that we saw the players sitting on the first base dugout watching the game, and we both thought they just seemed kind of loose, but yet focused. I think they're enjoying this, but they do have an objective, and that is to win.
Absolutely.
And that's low. The count 3-1 on Jacob LeBron. Jacob steps out, checks with Russell Triplett over in the first base dugout. Excuse me. Russell Triplett, the South Atlantic Conference Coach of the Year and the Coach of the Year in the Southeast region. 3-1 pitch. And again, LeBron squaring to bunt. Can't get the bunt down, so now with 2 strikes, I don't think he's going to be bunting. On deck is Braylon Marine, just getting underway. Top of the first inning, no score. Newberry batting. Newberry beat UNC Pembroke last night 12-3. That's how they got to this point. And then Belmont Abbey lost earlier today. Pardon me, they won earlier today against Columbus State, and that's why they are here.
Right, Columbus State just lost the earlier game this evening prior to this one, and they are out of the tournament, but the Braves wait to play again tomorrow.
Pickoff play at first, back in safely is Donovan Ford, who has stolen 46 out of 52. Donovan with a conservative lead, I guess is the way I could put it. And he's running. The pitch is outside. That's ball 4. So Newberry has runners at first and second. Nobody out, and here comes Braylon Marine, the South Atlantic Conference Player of the Year and the Southeastern Regional Player of the Year. And what a year he's had, Jimmy.
Yeah, he really has. And as I said last night, I think it was, to win the SAC Player of the Year award twice and then the Southeast Region Player of the Year twice, that's really amazing.
And quite honestly, with the numbers he has, you would think some organization, pro organization, he must be on their radar.
You would think so.
I would think so. Fastball across the count, 0-1 to Braylon Marine. Braylon, since we've been talking about him, here are his numbers. .420 average, 5 home runs. He has stolen, driven in 67, and has stolen 39 of 46 bases. The pitch to Braylon, fouled off, and the count 0-2 on Braylon Marine.
Well, you and I were wondering who would start tonight, and the answer is Tyler Shinpire, and I don't think Coach Banks Faulkner had any question about which one's going to be the starter tonight in this second game for the Wolves.
We thought it would be Shinpire or Ethan LeBron. Obviously, the decision's been made, and it's Shinpire. What's the old saying? Go with what got you there.
That's right.
Now, Ethan LeBron has pitched well, don't get me wrong. Here's a stretch by the lefty, Grant Lohmeyer, and his pitch to Braylon. Bouncer right back to the pitcher, Lohmeyer. He fires to third, makes a bad throw, so Donovan Ford jumps up. He'll come in to score. At third base, Jacob LeBron. He's going to come in to score. Heading for third with a head first slide, but won't make it is Braylon Marine. So he'll go at least as far as second on a throwing error.
Yeah, Coach Jay Snyder tried to put the brakes on him, but he'd already made a commitment to come to third. Jay just hit the turf so they could throw over him. And as Marine tried to slide into third base there, they got the tag on him.
So that's an error, which enabled Braylon to make it as far as second, but he didn't make it to third. And then Ford scores on the error, and LeBron scores on the error. And here's Henry Gibson. Henry fouls a pitch back. Gibson batting .325, 4 home runs, and 47 RBIs for Henry. And the pitch by Lohmeyer. Down low, that was an error, by the way, pardon me, on Lohmeyer, a throwing error, the pitcher. And Newberry grabs 2 early runs. Lohmeyer into his windup, the pitch to Henry. Soft grounder to the first baseman, Ben Ferguson. He better hurry and race to the bag. He beats Henry there by half a step. So one first baseman retires the other.
Tell you what, those two guys run together. That's going to be a collision. They're both pretty big fellows.
So there's out number 2. And brings up Jonathan Velez, third baseman for Newberry.
Velez hitting .330, 39 runs, 1 home run, 32 runs batted in.
Jonathan was hit 23 times during the regular season. 2 outs, base is empty, but 2 runs in. And the pitch by Lohmeyer to Jonathan. Letter high fastball called a strike. And the count 1-1. Lohmeyer checking. They've got so many things written on these notepads on their wrists. Must be their master's thesis. Bouncy ball charging in. Jack Broyles, a shortstop, throwing on the run in time to retire Velez. That retires the side, but a costly error. Not that any error probably isn't costly. And Newberry picks up 2 runs, 1 hit, 1 error, nobody left. Half an inning, we're underway. Newberry leads 2-0.
Merchandise available along with concessions on the first baseline of the concourse to feature merchandise and championship, as well as concessions available on the first base side of the concourse.
On the mound for Newberry tonight, Tyler Chinpire, right-hander. Tyler is making his 15th start with a record of 7-0. Both starting pitchers, both are 7-0. And for Chinpire, he has an ERA of 3.82, 61 innings. He gave up 28 walks, struck out 39. The opponent's hitting .243 against Tyler Chinpire, and he's warming up. Chinpire, a sophomore from Jupiter, Florida. Behind him, it's Jonathan Velez at third base, Braylon Marine at shortstop, Jomar Lugo at second, Henry Gibson at first base, Rhett Jolly behind the plate, Cade Faircloth in left, Donovan Ford in center, and Jacob LeBron in right.
I don't know what that was, just flew by.
Either a child or a duck.
Well, the Wolves today in their gray uniforms with a scarlet trim, and the Belmont Abbey Ball Club in some pinstripes. Looking a little bit like the Yankees.
Yes, they do. I like pinstripes. I like some of the...
I do too. I like the Newberry pinstripes they wore last night. Tonight they're in all gray.
All righty, here's Connor Powell. Powell steps in, left-handed batter, and he takes a fastball low for ball 1. Powell batting .335, 3 home runs, and 32 RBIs. On deck is Patrick Taylor, and then Ben Ferguson set to hit third. There's that kid walking by again. Is he going to imitate a duck? I think that was a child that came by, wasn't it?
I think so.
A very low-flying foul.
1 ball, 1 strike here. By the way, Wolves with that 2 spot in the first inning to take the early lead here.
Bouncing ball, foul down the first base side. By the way, that was a darn good imitation of a duck by that kid, too. Hey, they're at the ballpark, you know.
Can't be a kid at the ballpark. Where can you be a kid?
Exactly. Excuse me. Tyler Chinpire looking in. He's got a 2-0 lead to support now in his Breaking pitch is off the plate to count 2-2 to Connor Powell. Bottom of the first inning, 2-0 Newberry. Powell waiting. Chinpire winds. 2-2 pitch, curveball hit in the air to right field. Coming in, Jacob LeBron still coming on, and he makes the catch.
The ball was hit pretty high.
And now it's Patrick Taylor, the second baseman. Patrick batting .284, 6 home runs and 39 runs driven in. And Patrick stands in. And the pitch to Taylor is a breaking ball high for ball 1. Well, we guessed that there'd be a pretty good crowd at this game, and I think there is a nice contingent representing both schools. Obviously, a little bit more Newberry way.
Yeah, I went out to go down to do the pregame with Russell Triplett, and there were a lot of folks around the stands here. And, of course, the folks who line the third base side as well behind the fence over there.
2-2 the count on Patrick Taylor. Here at this Newberry Regional in the one part of the Southeast Regional games going on. Here's the pitch, and that's outside. The other local regional over there in Greenville, well, North Greenville. One out, nobody on. 2-0 Newberry. And Chinpire's pitch to Patrick. Swing and a miss. Curveball strikes out Taylor. First strikeout for Tyler. That's out number 2. And it's up to Ben Ferguson. Ben walking up to home plate. Ferguson batting .363. Earlier today against Columbus State, Ferguson, or pardon me, yeah, against Columbus State, he hit a home run. I couldn't find it, but I know he did it. Trust me, I think.
By the way, you mentioned that other regional, North Greenville and Mount Olive tied at 5 in the top of the 4th up in Tigerville.
And that's come down to basically a 3-game series. 1-0 pitch to Ferguson, and that's low.
North Greenville seemed to be in trouble last night, but boy, they hit that 3-run shot to walk off the win last night. And they are the number 1 seed, of course, in the Southeast region and the defending national champions.
And then 2 years ago, out of the SAC conference, which is what Newberry plays in, you got Wingate. They were the national champions, so national champions all over the place. High fly ball to center. I mean, that's a really major league pop. If that ball had been straightened out, it would have been gone, but it's not, and it isn't, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. Go the Crusaders here in the bottom of the first inning. Let's go to the top of the second. It's 2-0 Newberry. On to the second inning, top of the second, where Newberry leads Belmont Abbey 2-0. I said Ben Ferguson hit a home run. I have to apologize. That was not Ferguson. So let me correct that. Here in the top of the second for Newberry, Cade Faircloth will lead off. Last night, Cade went 1 for 4 and scored 3 runs in that, helping Newberry to that 12-3 lead, Jimmy, over UNC Pembroke.
Yeah, and on the season, 1 home run, 26 runs batted in. Now hitting .340 on the season is Faircloth.
It'll be Cade Faircloth and Red Jolly, and then Brody Winter to face the left-hander Grant Lohmeyer, who didn't help his effort in the first inning. He was charged with a throwing error, and 2 runs came in to score. But Lohmeyer, the comeback player of the year in the Conference Carolina, and he's going to work here to Cade Faircloth, and here we go with the top of the second inning. Cade stands in. Cade Faircloth for Newberry. And the left-hander Lohmeyer winds a pitch to Cade. It's a fastball outside 4. Ball 1. Outfield straight away. Center fielder Carter Duhame is rather deep, but then again, it's everybody looks deep out there so far. And the pitch is across a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here on the right-handed batter, Cade Faircloth. And on deck is Red Jolly. The pitch, and that's outside. And the count goes 2-1. In the early going, granted, it's first time we both of us seen Lohmeyer. He seems to rely on movement more than velocity. Here's the left-hander's pitch. It's a fastball, bounced up the middle and gets through. Base hit into center field.
And
Faircloth is on.
That's hit number 2 for the Wolves.
And here comes Red Jolly. Now, last night, Red had a heck of an evening with a triple that drove in 2 runs, a single that drove in 2 runs. So he went 2 for 3 last night with 4 RBIs. And Red's going to stand in. Red Jolly coming into this game hitting .297, 1 home run, 35 runs driven in. In case you're wondering, Cade Faircloth has stolen 13 of 18. Red Jolly squares to bunt and gets hit by a pitch, so now Newberry has runners at first and second, Jimmy.
Yeah, he was hit last night at least once, as I recall, on the elbow. So a 2-0 lead for the Wolves here, and they've got runners at first and second as we start things off here in the top half of the second. That's going to bring out a visit to the mound.
You're right, last night Jolly was hit in the 4th inning. And out from the third base dugout, the head man for Belmont Abbey, that's Chris Anderson, who I believe years ago, I think, was a pitching coach at Catawba. Anderson calls the entire infield in. Well, Newberry has runners at first and second, and they need to take advantage of every opportunity. The batter is Brody Winter. When the meeting adjourns.
North Greenville just went up 6-5, and we just mentioned a minute ago was a 5-5 ball game in the 5th.
Coach Anderson walks slowly back to the third base dugout, and now Grant Lohmeyer is going to work here to Brody Winter, the DH for Newberry.
By the way, when I mentioned a moment ago it was tied at 5, it's now 6-5. At one point, North Greenville was down 5-1. Back here, 2-0 Newberry.
Stretching the pitch. It's a fastball low. The count 1-0 on Brody Winter. The ball gets away from the catcher, Garrett Browner, and the runner at second. Faircloth races over to third base. And now Newberry has runners at first and third. Nobody out, and a great opportunity to get at least 1 run in. Nobody out, so a fly ball, assuming it's hit deep enough, should score Cade Faircloth. So you've got Faircloth at third, Red Jolly, the Newberry runner, at first. And the middle infielders will stay back. They'll give up a run and take the double play if it's a ground ball. The pitch to Brody Winter by Grant Lohmeyer. Lohmeyer hesitating. Now the pitch. And Brody squaring to bunt, and he bunts a fastball foul. Not a squeeze play. The runner at third, Faircloth, would have been coming down the line if that ball had been fair. Count 1-1 on Brody Winter, the DH for Newberry.
Brody with 3 home runs, 18 runs batted in on the season.
Third baseman Todd Vallada's in close. Fastball in on the knees. That's a strike, and the count 1-2.
Well, Gary, we got a head start on our start from last night.
Last night, first pitch 9:04. burned in my memory.
Yes, so about 8:35 or 40, I guess it was, to start this one.
Comes a 1-2 pitch to Brody Winter, jammed in on his hands, and he fouls off a fastball. Now, this is a very pivotal at-bat. If Lohmeyer were to strike out Brody, obviously that would be out number 1. Then Lohmeyer could hope to get a ground ball off the bat of Lugo, the man on deck, which could result in a double play. Conversely, if Winter can drive a ball, then Newberry's going to pick up a run. And obviously a base hit will get that done. Swing and a miss. He chased a pitch out of the strike zone, Jimmy.
Yep, struck him out. That is the first strikeout of the ball game for Lohmeyer.
And here comes the number 9 hitter, Jomar Lugo for Newberry. Jomar batting .281 with 27 runs driven in. Lomar stands in. Jomar Lugo, the second baseman for Newberry, he squares the bunt, and the pitch is low. Ball got away from the catcher Browder, but nobody makes a move, and they count 1-0 on Jomar Lugo.
Yeah, they were more worried about Jolly moving to second because there's no way anybody's coming from third. That ball had rolled into the grass on the third base side. Way too dangerous there, but they were concerned Jolly would move down to second.
Grant Lohmeyer from the stretch. It's pitched to Jomar. It's a fastball down and in. The run at first with a late break, and down to second goes Rhett Jolly. So now Newberry has runners at second and third, 2 men in scoring position.
Yeah, after Faircloth singled and stole a base, Jolly was hit to reach and now has stolen a base. So second and third, just one away.
2-0 the count to Jomar Lugo. He waits the pitch to Jomar. Breaking ball, letter high, and it's called a strike. Two and one the count on Jomar Lugo. Donovan Ford is on deck as Newberry bats in the top of the second. The pitch, a bunt, popped it straight back out of play. And the count evens at 2-2 on Jomar Lugo.
And they did have Faircloth coming up the line, too, from third base.
This is Newberry baseball. They do not have a lot of power. They have to rely on speed, singles, bunting. They have a great defense, good pitching. 2-2 pitch. Foul tip. The catcher cannot hang on, so Jomar gets another chance. Belmont Abbey's catcher, Garrett Browder, walking around like it's already been a long evening. Browder just now taking his position behind home plate. 2-2 the count on Jomar Lugo. And the pitch to Jomar. Line, base hit, left field. That's going to score Faircloth, rounding third. Here comes Red Jolly. He'll score standing up and into second with a double. And 2 RBIs is Jomar Lugo. And here in the top of the second inning, it's Newberry leading Belmont Abbey 4-0.
So Faircloth, who started off with a single, and Rhett Jolly, who was hit to reach, come on to score, and a 2 RBI double there for Jomar Lugo.
Jomar at second with 1 out. Back to the top of the Newberry batting order, and it's Donovan Ford who singled to begin the game and eventually scored on a throwing error by the pitcher, Grant Lohmeyer. Donovan stands in, right-handed batter. And the pitch to Donovan is a breaking ball down and in. And they call it a strike. The count 0-1 on Donovan Ford. Nothing and 1 the count on Donovan with a runner at second. That runner is Jomar Lugo. Newberry has picked up 2 more runs. They lead Belmont Abbey 4-0. Top of the second. And the 0-1 pitch by Grant Lohmeyer. Slow tapper to the third baseman. Todd Villada has to hurry his throw because of the speed of Donovan Ford. He gets forward. There's out number 2. And Jomar Lugo holds at second base. The batter is Jacob LeBron, who walked in the first inning. Jacob stands in, left-handed batter. stretch, and the pitch by Grant Lohmeyer to Jacob is a breaking ball low for ball 1.
Wolves still have that man down at second base, of course, in scoring position, but 2 away now, so it would take a base hit to bring in run number 5.
Lohmeyer studies the signs, has what he wants, and his 1-0 pitch to Jacob LeBron off the plate. The count 2-0. I would have to think, or I do think, Lohmeyer wants to retire Jacob, because if he lets LeBron reach, then it brings up Braylon Marine, and Braylon entering tonight with 67 runs driven in, and he is on deck for Newberry. 2-0 the count to Jacob LeBron. Pitch on the way. Fastball taken. And the count 2-1.
Pair of runs in this second inning to go along with the 2 Newberry scored back in the first. 4-0 lead.
2 balls, 1 strike the pitch. And that's called a strike. Jacob thought that was a little bit low and outside. LeBron steps out of the batter's box, adjusts his batting gloves, stands back in. He'll have to be alert for that pitch down and away that's going to be called a strike, apparently. Here's a 2-2 by Lohmeyer. And Jacob is caught looking on a curveball, a call, 3rd strike, and that ends the top of the second for Newberry. But they add 2 runs, 2 hits. They leave a man on to the bottom of the second. It's 4-0 Newberry. Bottom of the second inning, Gary Griffith alongside Jimmy Coggins as Newberry leads 4-0. And here in the bottom of the second inning for the Crusaders, it'll be their cleanup hitter, the catcher, Garrett Browder, to lead off. And then he'll be followed by Connor Tucker and then Carter Duhame to face Tyler Chinpire. Earlier today, Garrett Browder went 4 for 4 when Belmont Abbey beat Columbus State 15-13. In that game, Browder with a double, a triple, and 2 singles. So here's Garrett Browder. The pitch to Garrett, and it hits him. So Browder's on to begin the bottom of the second inning for Belmont Abbey. And now the batter's Connor Tucker, their DH.
Yeah, you saw that game. I didn't get to see all of it. I saw the end of it earlier today when Belmont Abbey picked up that victory.
Connor Tucker stands in, left-handed batter for the Belmont Abbey Crusaders. Belmont Abbey right down Interstate 85 from Charlotte. Pretty much just a suburb of Charlotte. There's not much break. That whole area has grown up so much. And the pitch is outside, ball 1. Tyler Chinpire from the stretch, and the pitch down low. Now Tyler will once in a while make what I call a quick pitch. He'll just bring it to the plate. He hasn't done that tonight. Third baseman Jonathan Velez is even with the bag, and then Henry Gibson holding Garrett Browder at first base. Here comes a 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Tucker about 2 time zones out in front of that.
Yeah, he took a big whack at that one.
He's got to wait till the ball gets to home plate.
Tucker, 6 home runs, 51 runs batted in on the year.
And a 2-1 pitch. Curveball dropped in.
Boy, that thing had a lot of motion on it.
Man. Two and two the count. The pitch. Got him. Swing and a miss. Nice recovery by Tyler Chinpire to strike out Connor Tucker. Second strikeout for Chinpire. And it brings up Carter Duhame, the center fielder for the Belmont Abbey Crusaders.
Yeah, the Crusaders went down 1-2-3 in the first on a couple of flyouts, and the first strikeout of the night for Tyler Chinpire. Now a hit batsman and a strikeout here in the second.
Duhame batting .285, has power, has hit 12 home runs. He's driven in 52, and he takes a curveball across strike one. Bottom of the second, 4-0 lead by Newberry. The pitch fouled back, and now there are 2 strikes on Carter Duhame.
You were talking earlier about when the ball club from Newberry was sitting on top of the dugout watching the previous game that they looked loose. When I was in the dugout, I kind of got that feeling as well, just kind of watching the guys.
I think you said Russell described them as loose but focused.
Focus, that's exactly what he said. Did not get a chance to talk to the Belmont Abbey coaches. This ball game started a little more quickly than we thought it would.
A couple of weeks ago up in Hickory, I remember Russell said to me, he said, hey, we didn't come up here to take 2 out of 3. And in fact, they did take 3, then won 2 more and beat Lenore Ryan 5 times in a week.
They did. Unbelievable.
1-2 the count.
It's hard to do that in the backyard.
Oh, I know. I got a feeling Lenore Ryan has Newberry crossed off on the schedule for next year, or I should say circled. 2-2 the count on Carter Duhame. Runner at first, 1 out. Newberry leads 4-0. Tyler Chinpire looking in, taking his time. Now the right-hander sets, and the pitch. Down low. Chinpire has a really high leg kick. I'm a little surprised he doesn't try to cut that down with the runner on. (3-2) count with Caleb Burr on deck. 3-2 to Carter Duhame. And Duhame is waiting. And here comes the pitch by Chinpire. Breaking ball low, ball 4, and there are runners at first and second now, Jimmy.
Yeah, the hit batsman and the walk with the strikeout in between, and here comes Caleb Burr.
Caleb, the right fielder for the Crusaders. Burr batting .311, 7 home runs and 21 runs driven in. And Burr stands in, right-handed batter. Earlier today, Burr went 1 for 4 in the game against Columbus State. The pitch to Burr, fastball up and in, ball 1. So the Columbus State Cougars are out. They've lost 2 games, so they lost both games today, so they're out, and it's down to Newberry, Belmont Abbey, and UNC Pembroke. 1-0 pitch by Chinpire to Caleb. Right down the middle, good pitch, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. Newberry scored 2 runs in the first. They added 2 runs in the second.
By the way, up in Tigerville, 7-6, bottom of the 4th, Mount Olive has regained the lead in that baseball regional.
A 1-1 pitch to Caleb Burr. Breaking ball, nice block by Rhett Jolly. And now Rhett calls time and is going to go out and talk with.
Just as I said, 7-6, it's now 9-6 Mount Olive.
What inning?
In the bottom of the 4th.
Long way to go.
Yep.
Against a very good team.
I don't think that's all the runs those 2 teams are going to score. 4-0 here, Gary, and Newberry with 2 runs in each of the first 2 innings here. Bottom of the second, though, with just 1 away, and Belmont Abbey with runners at first and second.
2 balls, 1 strike to count to Caleb Burr. Talking about Mount Olive scoring runs. They scored 19 this year on Newberry. And now the 2-1 pitch. popped up, playable, foul territory. First baseman Henry Gibson over, plenty of room. He makes the catch. That's out number 2. And the batter is Todd Vallata, the third baseman for the Crusaders. Todd batting .355 with a pair of home runs and 22 driven in. And now Tyler Chinpire 1 out away from leaving runners at first and second here in the bottom of the second. And the pitch on the way. If it stays fair, it's a home run down the left field side, and it is a fair ball, a 3-run home run to left field, right inside the pole. And the Crusaders are right back in it, Jimmy. When it left his bat, I knew it had the distance. It just was a matter of whether it would stay fair or foul. And it's a fair ball, a 2-out, 3-run home run to left field by Todd Vallata.
Yeah, you're right. It was definitely far enough. The question was it inside the foul pole? And the answer is yes, it was. 4-3.
Vallata with his third home run of the season now has driven in 25. Garrett Browder and Carter Duhame scored. And Duhame had walked. Browder had been hit by a pitch, and they both score on that home run.
And by the way, that's the very first hit of the ball game for Belmont Abbey, and it was a long shot.
Swing.
Oh my goodness, there's another
fly
one.
ball, left field. Cade Faircloth at the wall, and it is gone. A 2-out solo home run by Jack Boyles has tied the game. Boyles, that's his first home run of the season, and he's just tied the game for Belmont Abbey. And out from the first base dugout is Newberry's pitching coach, Banks Faulkner.
Had a long chat with Banks earlier today down in the dugout. He's coming out to talk to Tyler Chinpire. Newberry is going to get somebody up throwing in the bullpen. Those two shots, there were no doubters. The second one, maybe a little bit more so than the first one, but Faircloth out there tried to give it a shot, just couldn't get up high enough. That ball was over the fence and gone for the second home run. In fact, back-to-back homers by Vallata and Boyles.
The only other time this season I saw back-to-back against Newberry was Lenore Ryan. But it doesn't happen very often. And that's how quickly things can change. It's now tied at 4.
And, of course, nationally ranked Tampa came in here, played a 3-game series against the Wolves after the tournament was over, the SAC tournament. They hit 6 home runs, 4 in one game and 2 in the second game. They did not hit a home run in the third game, but they did sweep the Wolves.
It's a 4-4 ball game. Back to the top of the batting order. Here's Connor Powell, who flied out to right field. Chinpire ready. The pitch is a curveball, low, the count 1-0. Pitching coach Banks Faulkner walked out and had a talk with Chinpire. Chinpire just goes right back to his work. Those 2 home runs, not taking anything away from those home runs by Belmont Abbey. As you said, especially that second one by Boyles. Here's a pitch low, the count 1-1 strike.
Well, the 2 of the outs in the first inning were very high fly balls, one to right, one to center. And they got, I think if they had been a little bit lower, you mentioned then that one of those might have gotten out of here.
Fastball low, the count 2-1 to Connor Powell. Bottom of the second inning. Belmont Abbey has come back. They've scored 4 runs. The game is now tied at 4. And here comes a 2-1 pitch by Tyler Chinpire right down the middle. Connor Powell takes to even the count at 2-2.
And both of those home runs, as you pointed out, came with 2 out in the inning.
2-2 pitch. Tapper up the middle. The shortstop, Braylon Marine, can't get to it. Going to his left. There's a base hit into center field. And now Belmont Abbey has the go-ahead runner on. And that's her 3rd hit in the inning. It brings up Patrick Taylor, who struck out swinging in the first.
Yeah, a hit batsman, a strikeout, a walk, a pop-out, back-to-back homers and a single. The result, 2 men out, 4-4 ball game, and a man at first base.
2 outs, and here's Mr. Patrick Taylor to stand in. Patrick, a right-handed batter. Snap throw to first, back in safely is Connor Powell. Powell has stolen 6 out of 10. Not exactly prolific, but pretty nice average. Stretch and the pitch. Curveball taken, and the count 0-1. Bottom of the second inning, it's a 4-4 game. And the pitch, and that hits Patrick Taylor. Second hit batsman in the inning.
Yeah, the leadoff guy, Browder, was hit to reach. He later scored, and now the 8th man in the order, Patrick Taylor, actually the 8th man to come to the plate. Actually the 2nd man in the order, but the 8th man to come to the plate, he gets hit.
And now here's the 9th guy to come up in the inning, and it's Ben Ferguson, who flied out to center field in the first. Ben stands in. Left-handed batter, he waits. Stretch and the pitch by Tyler Chinpire. Swinging a foul tip, and the count 0-1.
Ferguson taking a mighty whack at that one.
Ferguson has power. He's hit 11. And he waits. Pitch on the way by Tyler Chinpire. Ben Ferguson holds up. Curveball. That's low. The count evens at a ball and a strike. Tyler Chinpire in no particular hurry right now, working rather slowly. 1-1 the count. And the pitch to Ben. Breaking ball. A little bit up in the zone, as they say, and the count 2-1. Been some dang close calls last night and tonight.
Amen.
Center fielder Donovan Ford edges towards right field, so they play Ferguson as a pull hitter to right. Now a 2-1 pitch to Ben. Fly ball the other way, left center field. That's going to get down. Maybe it does. That's going to score 1 run as Powell comes in to score around from second. And Belmont Abbey grabs a lead, a 2-out RBI single, and it's a 5-4 lead by Belmont Abbey. That's going to be it for Chinpire. Here comes Banks Faulkner out of the first base dugout, and he's going to make the change already. We'll be back after this break. Newberry brings in right-hander Colm O'Shea from the bullpen. So Tyler Chinpire works 1 2/3 innings so far, has given up 5 earned runs. He leaves having given up 4 hits, and 2 of those home runs. He walked 1 and struck out 2. And Jimmy, now it's Colm O'Shea.
Yeah, Colm O'Shea's numbers on the season: 27 2/3 innings pitched, 30 hits, 19 strikeouts, earned run average 5.53.
Colm warming up. Colm O'Shea, he'll pitch here in a moment to Garrett Browder.
Remember, he led all this off when he was hit to reach and would later come home to score on that 3-run shot.
So the Belmont Abbey Crusaders have batted around here in the bottom of the second inning. They lead 5-4. And now it's Colm O'Shea warming up.
Colm O'Shea now on the mound for the Wolves. By the way, Colm a 6'6", 230-pound right-hander out of Sunnyside, New York. Transferred into Newberry from Monroe College.
Kind of a generic sounding name. I'm not sure where Monroe is. Monroe, North Carolina?
Monroe, I don't know.
I don't either. Now there's a Louisiana Monroe, but that doesn't say that. Anyway, 2 outs, runners on the corners. O'Shea Redding is pitched to Browder as a fastball pounded foul down the third baseline by Garrett, and the count 0-1 on Garrett Browder. Patrick Taylor, the runner at third. Ben Ferguson, the runner at first base for the Crusaders, who now lead Newberry 5-4. O'Shea looking in.
Got 3-2.
And he'll work from the stretch. He's ready with his 0-1 pitch to Browder. Browder checks his swing on a breaking ball, and the count evens at a ball into strike.
And the runner at first made a little hitch towards second, but Brett Jolly didn't make the throw because the man was on third base over there, so didn't want to chance that.
1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, and runners on the corners for the Belmont Abbey Crusaders, who now lead 5-4. The pitch popped up. They talk about a major league pop-up. We're looking at one. Shortstop Braylon Marine out on the outfield grass and left. He makes the catch, and that will retire the side. But here in the bottom of the second, the Crusaders score 5 runs, including back-to-back home runs. So they'll take a 5-4 lead as we head into the third.
Who else? Connor.
Top of the third inning here in Newberry, South Carolina, in this regional game. Newberry now trailing 5-4. Belmont Abbey just scored 5 runs in the bottom of the second, including back-to-back home runs from Todd Vallada. He hit a 3-run home run, then the solo home run by Jack Boyles.
Braylon Marine will lead things off for the Wolves. Marine reached on a fielder's choice. Moved to, I believe, second on an error, and then got caught stealing.
Braylon stands in. And here we go with the top of the third inning. 5-4 lead by Belmont Abbey. And now Grant Lohmeyer has a 1-run lead to support, and he misses outside. Ball went to Braylon Marine. Braylon reached on an error his first time up. And the 1-0 pitch to Braylon. Swing and a miss on a sinking fastball. The count evens a ball and a strike. Henry Gibson on deck. And then Jonathan Velez is going to hit third. Here's a 1-1 pitch by Lohmeyer. Letter high strike. The count 1-2 to Braylon. Be nice to get Braylon on. He certainly capable of stealing a base for the Wolves. Swing and a miss at a curveball. He strikes out. Second strikeout for Grant Lohmeyer. The batter now, Henry Gibson. Henry grounded out to his counterpart, first baseman Ben Ferguson, in the first inning. So Ben is 0 for 1. And Ben stands, Henry stands in and takes a fastball across strike one. Looks like Lohmeyer Working a little quicker, Jimmy.
Yeah, I believe so.
Henry waiting, twirling the bat. Now comes set. Here's a pitch by Lohmeyer. Swing and a miss at a curveball. Good pitch by Lohmeyer.
5 runs from your counterparts will make you work a little faster, I think.
Yeah, Lohmeyer probably one of the happiest guys out there because his throwing error allowed 2 runs in earlier. The pitch to Henry. Called third strike. That fastball came back across the plate. No argument from Henry. Good pitch by Grant Lohmeyer. Strikeout number 3 for Grant. There's out number 2. And here comes Jonathan Velez, who grounded out to the shortstop, Jack Boyles, in the first inning. So Jonathan is 0 for 1.
That ended the inning after Newberry had scored 2 runs in the first. Of course, they added 2 more in the second, but then Belmont Abbey came back with 5 in their half of the second.
Tapper, that rolls foul down to third base side of the count, 0-1 on Jonathan. 2 outs, nobody on here in the top of the third inning for Newberry. And the 0-1 pitch by Grant Lohmeyer is outside, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. One-win pitch by Lohmeyer to Jonathan. A pop-up might drop. It does out into right field. Velez drops a base hit out there, and now Newberry has the tying runner on. The batter's Cade Faircloth. Cade singled in the second and then came in to score on Joe Marlugo's double.
Also picked up a stolen base, too, back in the second.
Cade Faircloth stands in, right-handed batter, 2 outs. Tying runner on at first base for Newberry. And the pitch to Cade. Fouled off the end of the bat, strike 1. And the count 0-1 on Cade Faircloth. Top of the third inning. Newberry scored 2 runs in the first and added 2 runs in the second. Then the Crusaders scored 5 runs in the bottom of the second. There's a throw to first to check on Jonathan Velez. Jonathan has stolen 5, Jimmy, but he's been caught 6 times.
Yeah, not quite the threat that some of the other guys are.
And I don't think he's going to be running with 2 outs.
Nope.
Stretch the 0-1 pitch. A move to first. Well, Grant Lohmeyer must think otherwise. Nothing and 1 the count on Cade Faircloth, the left fielder for the Newberry Wolves. And the pitch to Cade is a curveball across, and the count 0-2. Lohmeyer steps off the rubber for a moment. Now he stands back on there. Looks in. And will make an 0-2 pitch to Cade Faircloth. Here it is. Faircloth fouls a fastball off. That pitch right out over the plate.
Winner of this game advances to play tomorrow night. The loser plays the 3:30 game tomorrow afternoon. That would be a loser's bracket game between Newberry and Pembroke.
Pitch outside, the count 1-2. If not for the effort of the catcher Browder, that would have been a wild pitch.
And would have advanced the runner.
One ball, 2 strikes. Lohmeyer working rather slowly. Left-hander sets. And here comes the 2-strike pitch. Letter high, but called a ball. And the count 2-2. Some of these marginal pitches.
And that's been the case for all ball clubs, too.
Yep.
Last night in both cases and today in both cases.
Stretch, 2-2 pitch. Swing. Driven down the right side. That is a foul ball. Faircloth drove it a long way, but it was foul. Jonathan Bliss will truck back to first base.
Both teams with 4 hits, but the difference is that Belmont Abbey has a 3-run homer and a solo shot among those 4 hits.
2-2 pitch, and this time it's fouled the other way down the third baseline and hit rather sharply. Cade backs out of the batter's box for a moment, adjusts his batting gloves. Now he stands back in. 2-2 the count on Cade Faircloth. Jonathan Velez, the Newberry runner at first base. Jonathan with a pretty good lead. And the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball up the middle to shortstop. Boyles flips to second for the force out on Jonathan, and that retires the side. No runs, a hit. Newberry leaves a man on. 2.5 complete. The bottom of the third is coming up. Your score is Belmont Abbey 5, Newberry 4. Bottom of the third inning, Newberry trailing 5-4. Newberry had the early 4-0 lead, but the Crusaders came back with 5 runs in the bottom of the second. And here in the bottom of the third, the designated hitter Connor Tucker leads off for the Belmont Abbey Crusaders. Tucker struck out swinging in the second inning, so he's 0 for 1. Bottom of the third will unfold here as Combe O'Shea starts his first full inning of relief. Starting pitcher Tyler Chinpire went 1 2/3 and allowed 5 earned runs.
Yeah, Combe only had to throw 3 pitches in that back in the second inning to get Newberry out of that 5-run second.
Stretch and a 1-0 pitch, and that's low to make the count 2-0. Two nothing count. Combe ready to pitch. Outside, ball 3.
Update from Tigerville in the other region. Now 10-6, Mount Olive, bottom of the 5th over North Greenville.
And the pitch here is a breaking ball across to make the count 2-1 on Connor Tucker. Two-one pitch. It should be 3-1. There it is. Ball 4 outside. I thought it was 3-1. And Tucker's on to begin the bottom of the third. And it brings up Carter Duhame.
The last inning where Newberry ended up giving up those 5 runs, that started with a hit batsman, which is tantamount to a walk, quite frankly. And here's the leadoff man Tucker aboard after Newberry gives up the pass.
The pitch to Carter Duhame outside on the left-hander, the count 1-0. Runner on, nobody out, bottom of the third, the pitch. High in the count, 2-0.
Talk about close pitches.
There's been a lot of them. 2-0 the count. And Carter Duhame, who walked in the second and came in to score in the 3-run home run by Todd Vallada. And the 2-0 pitch bounced. First baseman Henry Gibson throws to second. Throw back to first, not in time.
Might have gotten him had that ball stayed in the mid. I don't know. It was pretty close, but it popped out, so no decision there. But they do get the force down at second base.
So a fielder's choice for Carter, and it brings up Caleb Burr, who has popped out to first baseman Henry Gibson. One out, runner at first, and the batter, Caleb Burr. And the pitch to Caleb is a fastball low, the count 1-0. Burr stepped out of the batter's box for a moment. Now he stands back in. Throw to first, back in safely over there is Carter Duhame. Duhame has stolen 6 of 8. One ball, no strikes as Cole O'Shea sets. And the pitch by Cole. Slider, looked like a slider, and it's a good one. 1-1 the count.
Nice pitch there from Combe.
One ball, one strike, one out. A runner for a snap throw over. Back in safely is Carter Duhame. And now a 1-1 pitch. A runner breaks. Bouncy ball moving in third baseman Jonathan Velez. His only play is at first. How about that? Duhame running. He makes it to second. If not, it would have been a double play.
Yeah, they the early takeoff there allowed him to get down to second base, so that's a pretty bona fide double play opportunity otherwise.
Runner at second for the Crusaders, and the batter is Todd Villada, who hit a 3-run home run right inside the left field foul pole back in the second. And then right after that, Jack Boyles followed with a solo home run. Fastball across the count, 0-1. And Villada, not really known as a power hitter. He had hit 2 home runs coming into this game. Breaking ball from O'Shea is down low. The count, 1 ball, 1 strike.
2 games on for tomorrow, one at 3:30, one at 7. 3:30 game will be a loser's bracket affair, and the 7 o'clock game will be the team that makes it out of this game here tonight as the winner.
1 ball, 1 strike, stretching the pitch to Todd Villada. And he tried to check his swing. Now, whoever loses this game would go into that bracket tomorrow, and that team would then have to win 2.
Correct. Have to win the 3:30 game and then come back and beat Newberry if it's Newberry, or Belmont Abbey if it's Belmont Abbey, twice.
The pitch, breaking ball, called third strike. And Villada caught looking, and that will end the bottom of the third for Belmont Abbey. No runs, hits, errors, and a man left. Jimmy's going to be with you in the 4th inning. Through 3, it's 5-4 Belmont Abbey.
Huh? Yeah, if they got a water, I'll take a water. Throw that in the trash when you go by.
Got another stat for you. Patrick, number 3, went on last night catch. 41 season ties a single season division 2 record.
All right. Back to the Smith Road Complex here in Newberry, South Carolina, just off the campus of Newberry College. 5-4, Belmont Abbey with the lead over Newberry here in this affair tonight. 5 runs, 4 hits for Belmont Abbey, 4 runs, 4 hits for Newberry as we start the top half of the 4th inning. And it'll be Rhett Jolly coming to the plate for the Wolves. First to lead off this third inning. There's ball 1 to him. 1 ball, no strikes. One 0 pitch across takes the count to 1-1. Jolly was hit to reach, stole a base and scored a run in the 2-run second for the Wolves. Swing and a miss, strike 2. May have gotten a little piece of that one. Now the 1-2 toss from the Belmont Abbey left-hander. Ball lifted out of play to the right side. Count holds at 1-2. Speaking of hit batsmen, Jolly with that leadoff at bat when he was hit back in the second. Patrick Taylor, who was hit to reach for the Belmont Abbey Crusaders in the last inning. We'll finish that story in a minute. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Misses, ball 2. Patrick Taylor tied a single season record for being hit by pitch with 41.
I think that's a single season record, right?
Yep, that's right. Foul back. Count holds 2-2 to Jolly.
That's a lot of bruises.
I think the SID just said that means I got to go buy an ice pack. It's all hands on deck when you get to this point. 2-2 pitch, I should say. Missing outside, ball 3. The count on Rhett Jolly runs full. Jolly, Winter, and Lugo, bottom third of the Wolves' order, due up here in the top of the 4th. Newberry is the visiting team in this game tonight. 3-2 pitch. Ground ball to short. Throw across in time. Jolly is out 6-3. That'll bring up Brody Winter, who struck out back in the first inning. Well, Brody 0 for 1 on the evening. 1 out of the Newberry 4th. Nobody aboard.
Here, jump on it. Let's go. Let's go, jump on it.
Brody Winter, the DH, takes the first pitch for ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Low and inside, ball 2. Jomar Lugo on deck. He has a 2 RBI double to his credit earlier in this ball game. If you tuned in late, Newberry scored 2 in the first, 2 in the second, but then Belmont Abbey answered with 5 in the second, and they take a 5-4 lead here. Here's a pop-up right side of the infield. That's going to climb out of play behind the Newberry dugout, and the count will go to 2 balls and a strike. Brody's season batting average now 284. Pitch, popped it back behind us. 2-2 the count. Center fielder for Belmont Abbey kind of shaded toward right a little bit. A lot of room down the left field line and a pretty good bit of room down the right field line too, but center fielder is over toward right, and that ball's lifted right toward the center fielder. He dives. Does he make the catch? They say he does. That almost dropped in for a base hit for Brody Winter. Out number 2. Looking at the replay, he made the catch. Last night there was a catch in center field that someone later told me that they were watching on the big screen TV and said it looked like the ball hit the turf. That time, not the case. 2 down in the inning. Here's Jomar standing in. As I mentioned, a 2 RBI double for him back in the second inning. So 1 for 1 on the evening. 2 down, though, for Newberry. Pitch misses. Ball 1, 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 outs, nobody on in the top of the 4th for the Wolves. Should Lugo reach, Donovan Ford, the Newberry center fielder, waits on deck. Pitch high, ball 2, 2-1. Bouncer foul, third base side, count evens, 2-2.
Seems that the starting pitcher, Grant Lohmeyer, is kind of, settled in. He looks a lot better than he did in the first.
Yeah, Newberry jumped on him for 4 runs, 2 in the first 2 innings, but then, of course, that 5 spot that they put on in their half. Boy, there's a pitch that just missed. Another close pitch.
Well, Newberry needs a base runner. This could be a start.
So the count on Lugo, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Base hit, left field.
Jomar 2 for 2.
Yep. 2 base hits, 2 runs batted in. He's at first base, and here comes Donovan Ford. Donovan 1 for 2 in the ball game. Remember, he started off with a base hit back in the first, would later come on to score. So would Jacob LeBron, who walked. So Newberry looking for some 2-out magic here in the top half of the 4th inning with a man at first, but 2 away. Lohmeyer fires and misses. Ball 1 to Donovan Ford. Donovan with the hit in the first. And then ended the inning in the second. So 1 for 2 on the night. And there's a call strike. The count evens, 1 ball, 1 strike. Grant Lohmeyer has given up 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 of those earned. Throw to first, not in time. He's walked 1, struck out 4 so far in the ball game. Newberry batter Donovan Ford climbs back in with a 1-1 count. Jomar Lugo takes a lead off at first base. Here's the pitch, way outside. The catcher for Belmont Abbey does a nice job of snagging that one. If Browder doesn't snag that way outside pitch, Lugo's down to second base. The 2-1. Call strike 2 and the count evens. Wasn't much doubt about that one.
That's a good pitch.
Two toss. Ground ball to third. Down to second. That'll end the inning. So for Newberry, nothing doing. 1 hit, 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 5-4 Belmont Abbey. Bottom of the 4th coming up from Smith Road. 5-4 Belmont Abbey on top. 5 runs, 4 hits, and an error for Belmont Abbey. 4-5 and nothing for Newberry. And for Belmont Abbey, Jack Boyle steps in to face Cole Moshe. Here is the pitch to Boyles. Not a bad pitch, ball one. Jack Boyles, 1 for 1 with an RBI in the ball game. That is the home run, of course. Chopper, left side of the mound. O'Shea can't get to it, and by the time Lugo does, the runner is safe. Ruled a base hit, hit number 6. Here's Connor Powell, the left fielder. Powell 1 for 2 on the night. Left-handed hitting left fielder for Belmont Abbey. Throw to first by O'Shea. Not in time, chasing Boyles back to the bag. As I mentioned, that one hit by Boyles, who just singled. The one hit back in the second was a homer. Chopper right to short, flip to second. One throw to first, not in time. So they get the force on Boyles on a 6-4 putout down at second base. Powell reaches on a fielder's choice. And here's Patrick Taylor. Taylor struck out in the first, was hit to reach in the second. And remember, the Belmont Abbey SID tells us that Patrick Taylor tied a single season record for being hit by a pitch with 41 his last time up. That's a lot of black and blue. There's a strike to Taylor. One out, a man at first in the Belmont Abbey bottom of the 4th inning. Colm O'Shea on in relief of Tyler Shinpire. Turns and throws to first, not in time. Another throw to first, and again, not in time. O'Shea to the stretch. The 1-strike pitch is on the way. Check swing foul over toward the Newberry dugout. It's 0-2. On deck is Ben Ferguson for Belmont Abbey. But first, the 0-2 pitch to Taylor coming up here. Here it is. Curveball swung on, missed. Struck him out. Strikeout number 2 for Colm O'Shea. And now 2 away in the Belmont Abbey 4th inning. Here's Ben Ferguson. Flied to center in the first. Had an RBI single in the second. So 1 for 2 on the day is Ferguson. Left-handed hitting first baseman for the Crusaders. One ball, no strikes. First pitch misses. The 1-0. Ball 2, 2-0. Two men out, one man at first. The batter, Ben Ferguson. O'Shea sets, and the 1-0 delivery. Foul back left side, out of play. Count evens at a ball and a strike. Back up on the hill is Colm O'Shea, leans in to get the sign from Rhett Jolly. Throws to first. Snap tag over there, but not in time. From the stretch, O'Shea's 2-1. Wow. All three. Three balls and a strike. The 3-1 toss. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Check that. 3-2, beg your pardon. Wishful thinking, I guess.
I was right there with you.
That was a big enough cut. It could have been 2 strikes. All right, here's O'Shea now with the 3-2. And that is lined into left center field. That is a base hit. And they're going to hold the runners on the corners first and third. That is hit number 6 for the Crusaders of Belmont Abbey. That puts runners on the corners and brings up Garrett Broder, hitless on the evening. First trip to the plate, Broder was hit to reach, but he came home to score on that free run shot by Todd Vallada. Back in the second, when Belmont Abbey hit back-to-back home runs, a 3-run homer followed by a solo shot, and they took a 5-4 lead, and that's where we are now. Curveball in there, strike. Powell now at third, Ferguson at first. 1 strike to count to Garrett Broder. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. He tried to check his swing. I don't think it would have mattered. I think the umpire was going to call that a strike anyway.
Agreed.
0-2 the count on Browder. The 0-2 pitch, curveball lifted high in the air. Coming on is Donovan Ford, and he makes the catch for out number 3. For Belmont Abbey in the bottom of the 4th. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left on base. We're heading to the 5th with Belmont Abbey leading 5-4. Top of the 5th inning, Newberry will come to the plate here. It's going to be Jacob LeBron, Braylon Marine for the Wolves, and Henry Gibson. 5-4 the score, Belmont Abbey leading. By the way, for those of you listening locally, the Mid-Carolina High School girls softball team playing for an upper state championship today. They have to beat Gray Collegiate twice. Half of that equation taken care of. The Lady Rebels won 5-4 in the first game, and they have forced a second game. And last we heard, it was scoreless after an inning and a half. So good luck to the Lady Rebels. Update from up in Greenville, Mount Olive 13, North Greenville 6. And here we go for Newberry back at Smith Road. Here's Jacob LeBron stepping in. Here's the pitch to Jacob. There's a call strike on the outside corner. Jacob walked and scored in the first, struck out in the third. Newberry down by a run. Lefty-lefty matchup here. That hits LeBron. So Lohmeyer hits Jacob LeBron, and the Wolves have a leadoff man aboard here in the top half of the 5th inning. Braylon Marine will come to the plate now. 2 at-bats for Braylon, no hits so far in the game.
Jacob LeBron has stolen 20 out of 24. Got to keep that in mind.
Marine reached on a fielder's choice and struck out so far in the ballgame. 1st and 3rd innings, respectively. Pitch on the way. Missed inside, ball 1.
And Braylon is swinging away. At least he wasn't indicating on the first pitch about bunting.
Nobody out, man at first base. Newberry has the tying run aboard here in the person of Jacob LeBron, who was hit to reach. Here's the 1-0 toss to Marine. Misses, ball 2. To the stretch, Lohmeyer looks at first. Now comes with a pitch. There's a strike, and it's 2-1. Pretty good lead by LeBron at first base. The 2-1 pitch, that ball's lifted out of play to the right and behind us. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two runs in the first 2 innings. Each of the first 2 innings by the Wolves. They led 4-0, but then in the bottom of the 2nd, on the strength of 2 home runs, Belmont Abbey scored 5 to take the lead. That last pitch there swung on and foul tipped. So the count on Marine still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Crusaders have out-hit Newberry 6-5. The 2-2, runner goes, and that's fouled over near the bullpen. So the count again holding on Marine at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Donovan Ford had a great jump.
Yeah, he really did. He was gone way before the pitch got swung on there. Another pretty good lead by LeBron at first. Curveball foul to the right side again by Braylon Marine, who's hanging tough here against Grant Lohmeyer, whose pitch count, by the way, is up near 85 as we speak. 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts so far for Lohmeyer. Now the 2-2 up first to throw to first, not in time. Two again, back to the screen.
Good at bat here by Braylon. I think that's 4 straight that he's fouled off.
Yep. Tying run at first. Marine representing the go-ahead run at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes to him. Remember, nobody out. Here's the 2-2. Runner goes. That's hit to the right side. It's going to be thrown by the second baseman on a 4-3 putout for out number 1, but he does move LeBron down to second base, does Braylon Marine. So Newberry has the tying run in scoring position, and here comes Henry Gibson, the first baseman. Gibson grounded to first in the first, struck out in the third, 0 for 2 on the ball game. Now hitting .322, 39 runs, 4 homers, 47 runs batted in. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Slider in there, strike. Now the 0-1, fouled away to the left side. Count will go to 0-2 on Gibson. Top of the 5th. 5-4 Belmont Abbey. This is a winner's bracket game. The winner of this game advances to play tomorrow night. The loser will play UNC Pembroke at 3:30 tomorrow. 0-2 pitch, misses low and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
For for either team, stating the obvious, it's always tough to win 2, no matter the situation.
Right.
So this is really a linchpin game.
But we know Newberry did that in the SAC tournament.
Yes, they did.
The 1-2 toss. Whoa, that's a really good-looking pitch there by Lohmeyer. Umpire does not call strike. It's 2-2. As I said before, it's been close both ways this particular tournament. In what is this, game 4? I guess. 1 last night, 3 so far today. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Chopper toward first, but foul, and the count holds at 2-2. Now, Braylon Marine fouled off about 4 pitches to keep his at-bat alive, but he ended up grounding out to second. 2 balls, 2 strikes now, the count on Henry Gibson, the left-handed hitting Newberry first baseman. Looking for his first hit, he's 0-2. Man at second base. Pitch. In there, call strike 3. 2 down in the inning.
Good pitch. Henry knew it.
So it'll be up to Jonathan Velez to try to scratch a run across here with a man at second base, but they're 2 away now. Newberry trailing 5-4 with that tying run at second. That, of course, is Jacob LeBron, who reached when he was hit. And there's a base hit left field. Velez around third. Here comes the throw. They cut it off, and the throw to first. And they double him up. But I think the run scores because he scored before the putout, so that should tie the ball game. As Jacob LeBron came around third base, he got to home plate before they threw the man out at first. So that'll tie us at 5 for Newberry. 1 run on 1 hit and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 5th and we're now tied at 5 apiece.
So this, yeah, after the bottom.
One run, they do it with 2 out as Jacob LeBron comes on to score on a single by Jonathan Velez, but as he gets caught off the bag at first after the run had scored, we scored that put out as 7-6-3 for the 3rd out of the inning. But we're all tied now at 5. Hits are even at 6. So 5 runs, 6 hits for both ball clubs. Here we go. And there's a shot toward right field. That's going to go to the gap. This is Connor Tucker on his way to second, and he will hold up with a stand-up double at second base. Connor Tucker corks that into the gap and takes it into right center field out near the NCAA sign. So the 7th hit of the ball game for Belmont Abbey, and here is Carter Duhame. That's the first hit of the day for Tucker, by the way, as he has one hit and 2 at-bats plus a walk. There's a pitch way outside, snagged there nicely by Rhett Jolly. Tucker had struck out, walked, and is now doubled, so 1 for 2 plus the pass.
Joe LaFiore warming up for Newberry.
Carter Duhame, 1 at-bat. He has walked. So a walk and a run scored in the first, reached on a fielder's choice in the third. Ball 2 to him, 2 balls, no strikes. Runner at second base is Tucker after that leadoff double. Swing and a miss for a strike. Two balls and a strike now to Duhame. Caleb Burr waits on deck for the Crusaders. O'Shea sets, looks back to second. The 2-1 toss. Off the mark, ball 3. The 3-1 pitch, runner goes, throw to third, and they got him. Well, that's a big, big put out right there as they catch Connor Tucker trying to steal third base. Put out goes 2-5 or Jolly for Newberry. The catcher down to Velez at third base. 1 out in the inning, 3 balls, 2 strikes to count to Duhame. Here's the pitch. Misses away, ball 4. Pass issued by O'Shea there, his second walk of the night. Caleb Burr stepping in now. Burr 0 for 2, popped to first and grounded to third in the second and third innings. Pitch misses, ball 1. One-oh toss, foul back, count evens. Well, Connor Tucker with a leadoff shot into the gap in right center field, but caught stealing third base. 1 down. Duhame walked. He's at first. 1 ball, 1 strike to count now to Burr. Here's the pitch. Foul back again. Strike 2.
Come get him here. Let's go.
Keep working, O'Shea. Keep working.
1 ball, 2 strikes. O'Shea comes with a 1-2. Swing and a miss, got him. Here's Todd Villada. Todd Villada batting in the 8 spot, Gary, and Jack Boyles in the 9 spot behind him. These two guys have 2 home runs, 1 each. A 3-run shot by Villada back in the second and a solo shot by Boyles, should they get to him. So that's where the power has come from here for Belmont Abbey so far early in this ball game.
Yeah, these two, the 8th and 9th hitters, they've driven in 4 of the 5 runs.
Newberry fans down below wanted that pitch on the corner to be a strike, but no dice. 1 ball, no strikes. The 1-0 from O'Shea. There it is, strike 1. Ball and a strike to Todd Villada. The 1-1. Curveball hit him. Now, I think Coach Triplett is saying he turned into that.
Yep. Russell didn't hesitate right out of the first base dugout.
Yeah, I think he's trying to say that he didn't try to get out of the way, he just turned into it. And that's exactly what he's saying.
Yep.
Turned into the pitch. Umpire nods his head, but I don't think he's going to change anything. He is going to call the other 3 umpires in, so at least we're going to get a committee meeting here. So we'll see if that makes any difference. Many times it doesn't, but sometimes it does.
I mean, Russell didn't hesitate. He was right out of the first base dugout, and Russell only argues when he thinks he's got a case.
So all 4 umpires, first, second, third, and plate umpire, are gathering first base side of the dish, about halfway up.
Now, when it was up at Hickory, Newberry's Jonathan Velez leaned in, and they argued, and he had to come back.
Well, he loses the argument. Runner at first and second now, with 2 away. Here's Jack Boyles. Boyles, of course, had that solo shot we talked about back in the second inning. Pitch to Boyles, low and away, ball 1. O'Shea really needs to try to get this out here because anything else, base hit or a walk, could potentially load the bases, might even score that run from second. We're in a tie game at 5-5. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Oh, my goodness. 2 balls, no strikes. That was a close pitch. O'Shea sets the pitch, swinging a tap, strike 1. That one went behind the plate toward the screen, 2 balls and a strike. Combe comes with a 2-1, and that hit him. That had to hurt. You could hear that up here. Back-to-back hit batsman, and exactly what you did not want to see. That loads the bases, and here comes Coach Faulkner out of the dugout to talk to Combe O'Shea. Now, you mentioned we did have someone warming.
Joe LaFiora was warming up earlier. I think that's Joe still down there, and here he comes.
They're going to make a change. That'll be it for Combe O'Shea as Newberry makes a pitching change here. 5-5 the score. We're in the bottom half of the 5th inning with 2 out. Belmont Abbey, though, has the bases loaded, and we'll be back in a minute.
Give them any water.
All right, the new pitcher for Newberry is Bryce Peterson.
Yeah, let me jump in here. I apologize. I thought it was Joe LaFiora. Joe is still down there in the bullpen, but this is Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce was the one warming. Joe just down there. Bryce Peterson's numbers on the year: 14 1/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 13 strikeouts. Earned run average 1.88. The situation is simply this. Connor Tucker led off with a double, later got caught stealing for out number 1. Duhame walked, Burr struck out, Falada and Boyles were both hit to reach. So the result is 3 men aboard for Belmont Abbey with 2 men out, and the score tied at 5. So this is a real pivotal point in this bottom half. Well, not just in the bottom half of the 5th inning, but in this whole ball game. So Peterson can come in and get an out here, get Newberry out of the jam without giving up another run, or certainly not giving up more than 1. You got to feel pretty good. Top of the order, Connor Powell flied out in the 1st, singled and scored in the 2nd, reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Peterson delivers. Misses low, ball 1. Winner's bracket affair between Belmont Abbey and Newberry. 1-0 pitch, corner strike. Top of the 6th up in Tigerville, 13-7 Mount Olive over North Greenville. Ball and a strike now to Connor Powell. Peterson fires. That one gets behind. But the good news is it hits the concrete base below the screen and bounces right back to Rhett Jolly, so no advancement of the runner from third base. If that ball hits the net instead of the screen, a run's going to score there easily. 2 balls, 1 strike. Peterson leans into Jolly. Now goes to the stretch. The 2-1. Outside, ball 3. Nowhere to put Powell.
And that was a good stop by Rhett.
Yes, it was, because that ball was low and away to the left-hand batter over in the right-hand batter's box. 3-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Foul back, strike 2. Well, everybody's going to be moving on this pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Bases loaded. 5-5 the score. Bottom half the 5th inning. Full count on Connor Powell. Peterson wanting another rotation of the signs here as he shakes off the first. Now leans into Jolly. Here's a big one. The 3-2 pitch. Misses high, ball 4. And Belmont Abbey regains the lead as Carter Duhame comes on to score. And it is 6-5 Crusaders. Of course, the base is still loaded, and here comes Patrick Taylor. Taylor, hitless in the game, struck out in the 1st, was hit to reach in the 2nd, fanned again in the 4th. Pitch high, ball 1. All of this damage so far, just 1 run, but all these base runners without a hit in this inning so far. Peterson's 1-0. Strike, count evens. You did have I take that back, we did have the lead-off double by Tucker, but he later got caught stealing. Since then, we've had a walk, a strikeout, 2 hit batsmen, and a walk.
Yep. That's it. Not pretty, but it counts.
1-1 pitch coming up. Here it is. Swing and a miss, strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes to Patrick Taylor. From the stretch, Bryce Peterson fires. Misses off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs. Bases loaded. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. And that'll do it for the Crusaders in the bottom of the 5th. 1 run on 1 hit. They leave the bases loaded. We go to the 6th. Belmont Abbey 6, Newberry 5, and Gary will have the 7th and 8th innings coming up for you here in a minute.
Boys?
The Carolina softball team beat Ray Collegiate the first game. They beat them. They're leading in the second game.
On to the 6th inning. Now a 6-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. They just scored a run in the bottom of the 5th inning. Here in the top of the 6th for Newberry, it'll be Cade Faircloth, Rhett Jolly, and Brody Winter to face the starting pitcher, Grant Lohmeyer, still in there.
Yeah, you know, this game started out with Newberry coming out fast, scoring 4 runs in the first 2 innings, and then the pendulum swung the other way in the bottom of the 2nd. Both teams scored a run in the last inning, so here we are, 6-5.
What's the pitch count on Lohmeyer?
100.
Cade Faircloth leads off the top of the 6th, grounds a fastball to the shortstop, Jack Boyles. Boys with the throw, and he gets Faircloth by a half a step. There's out number 1 for Newberry in the top of the 6th. The batter is Rhett Jolly, who was hit by a pitch in the 2nd, then came around to score on the double by Jomar Lugo, and then Rhett grounded out to the shortstop, Jack Boyles, in the 4th inning. Belmont Abbey 6 runs, 7 hits. Newberry 5 runs and 6 hits. And the pitch to Rhett Jolly is a fastball that he takes, and the count 0-1. Center fielder Carter Duhame walks over towards right field. The pitch by Lohmeyer, and that is low to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Update from Tigerville in the other region. Bottom of the 8th, Mount Olive 13, North Greenville 7.
Last night, Rhett Jolly drove in 4 runs with a double and a triple, but tonight he's 0 for 1. He did reach when he was hit by a pitch, and that was back in the 2nd. The count 2-1 as Lohmeyer missed with a fastball. 6-5 lead by Belmont Abbey here in the top of the 6th. The pitch swung on, lined into left field, and it's going to drop for a base hit. The left fielder, Connor Powell, pulled up and let that ball hit in front of him so that he didn't overrun it and let that ball get past him.
First hit of the night for Rhett Jolly. He was hit to reach, stole a base, and scored a run in the 2nd. Grounded out in the 4th and gets the single there. Gary with 1 away.
Newberry has a tying runner on. The batter, the designated hitter, Brody Winter. Winter struck out swinging on a fastball in the 2nd. Flying out to center field in the 4th inning. So Brody stands in the pitch to Winter, and he lifts it in the air. Not hit that deep. Coming in left fielder Connor Powell, and he makes the catch, and that's out number 2. The batter, the number 9 hitter for Newberry, their second baseman, Jomar Lugo. Jomar doubled and drove in 2 in the 2nd, then singled in the 4th, so he's perfect, 2 for 2.
Now hitting .280 on the season, 18 runs batted in. I take that back. 2 runs batted in, as you said, now hitting .291 on the season. I was looking at Brody Winter. We're going to have a visit to the mound, though.
And out from the third base dugout is Belmont Abbey's head coach, Chris Anderson. And he is going to make a pitching change. So we'll take a break. We're in the top of the 6th. Your score, it's Belmont Abbey 6, Newberry 5. Yep. New pitcher for the Belmont Abbey Crusaders, right-hander Miles Hedgecock, who pitched in the earlier game this afternoon against Columbus State.
What is this, your 3rd game today?
Yep.
I can't tell how many scorecards you're holding on to over there.
Hitchcock pitched 1 inning earlier today and gave up 3 earned runs.
I didn't keep one in the game you and I did on YouTube earlier, but I'm keeping one now since we're also doing radio.
Hitchcock's going to pitch to Jomar Lugo here in a moment. Newberry has a tying runner on at first base, but there are 2 outs. 6-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. Newberry scored 2 runs in the first and then 2 runs in the second. Then they scored a run in the 5th.
Keep in mind when they did that too, Gary, there were 2 outs, so maybe they can do it again.
And then Belmont Abbey had that big second inning, scoring 5. And then they took the lead on a bases-loaded walk at the bottom of the 5th, given to Connor Powell, and that brought a run in, and they lead 6-5. And here's Jomar Lugo. Jomar will stand in, 2 outs, runner on at first. Jomar already 2 for 2. Can he make it 3 for 3? And he'll face Miles Hedgecock. Starting pitcher Lohmeyer worked 5 2/3. 7 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, and of the 5 runs, they're probably going to say only 3 are earned. 1-0 the count to Jomar Lugo. Jomar waits, stretch the pitch. He squares to bunt, takes a curveball across the count, a ball and a strike. Third baseman Todd Vallada already in close. Since Jomar was showing bunt, I don't think he's going to be bunting with 2 outs. That was some kind of decoy. Breaking ball low, the count 2-1. Now, if Lugo can reach, then Donovan Ford is on deck. And if Lugo say we're to draw a walk, he's got a pretty good eye at the plate. Then Red Jolly would move to second. Here's a 2-1 pitch by Miles Hedgecock, the right-hander. A little bit up, the count 3-1.
You mentioned the third baseman playing up in the grass. If he could pop it over his head, and there's a big hole between first and second too, Gary. He goes the other way.
Here comes a 3-1 pitch by Hedgecock. Inside, ball 4. Newberry has runners at first and second, so Jolly moves into scoring position. And it brings up Donovan Ford.
Donovan 1 hit and 3 at bats. Singled and scored in the first. Reached on a fielder's choice his last time up in the 4th. Also flied out, I believe it was, in the 2nd. Top
of the 6th inning, 2 outs for Newberry. And Donovan Ford, the batter, with runners at first and second. The pitch to Donovan is a breaking ball off the plate, and the count 1-0 to Donovan Ford. Rhett Jolly, the Newberry runner, at second. Jomar Lugo on at first, so Jolly is the tying runner at second, and Lugo the go-ahead runner at first, but Bud first. Newberry needs to tie this game, and it will take a 2-out base hit by Donovan Ford. The pitch to Donovan. He's showing bunt, pulls the bat back, and the count evens at a ball and a strike.
Well, if you're going to bunt with 2 outs, I guess he'd be the guy to do it, but I'm not sure he's really going to do that.
Yeah, I don't think he's really bunting either. 1-1 pitch, up and in. The count 2-1 to Donovan Ford, center fielder for the Newberry Wolves. 6-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. Top of the 6th inning. And a 2-1 count to Donovan Ford. Donovan waiting, stretch. 2-1 pitch by right-hander Hedgecock. Curveball in there, and the count even at 2-2. And Donovan just shakes his head. He knows that was a good pitch.
Yeah, he looked at the umpire and shook his head. You're right.
2 outs. 2-2 count to Donovan. And runners at first and second for Newberry. And now the stretch by Hedgecock. 2-2 pitch to Donovan Ford. Lifted in the air. Not hit that deep. The right fielder, Caleb Bird, towards the line. He makes the catch, and that retires the side. Newberry, no runs, 1 hit. They leave 2 men on. On to the bottom of the 6th. It's a 6-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. On to the bottom of the 6th inning. Gary Griffith out at the Smith Road Complex with Jimmy Coggins. Close ball game, Jimmy. 6-5 lead by Belmont Abbey.
Yeah, the hits are all even at 7 as we head into this bottom half of the 6th inning.
Belmont Abbey will send up their 3, 4, and 5 hitters, starting with Ben Ferguson.
Top of the 9th in Tigerville, bottom of the 9th in Tigerville, 13-7 Mount Olive.
If I'm not mistaken, that means if they hang on and win, then North Greenville would have to win 2 straight. Ben Ferguson stands in, left-handed batter. Ferguson has flied to center, and he's hit 2 singles. He's also driven in a run.
By the way, that's now a final 13-7 Mount Olive.
And Ferguson hit by a pitch.
Seen a lot of those in this regional so far. 1 game last night. This is the 3rd game today.
Well, last inning, let's see, there were 2 hit batsmen, right? Yep, 2.
Yep.
And the batter now, Garrett Browder.
That's 4 hit batsmen for Newberry pitchers in this ball game alone. And I'm looking on the other side of the coin, at least 2 here for Belmont Abbey. So that's 6 hit batsmen.
The pitch to Browder popped up. That's back out of play. The catcher, Rhett Jolly, comes back, but no play.
That thing bounced right in the stands in front of the press box here and went high in the air the second time.
Bottom of the 6th inning, close game, 6-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. The winner of this game would play tomorrow evening. The loser would have to play at 3:30 tomorrow against UNC Pembroke.
Well, it goes without saying, you want to win this one. It puts you in the driver's seat for sure.
Breaking ball outside, and the count 1-1. You're right. The winner of this game would only have to win 1 tomorrow. Pembroke and the loser of this game would have to win 2 tomorrow. 1-1 the count to Garrett Browder, the catcher for Belmont Abbey. 1-1 pitch to Garrett off the plate. And the count 2-1 with Connor Tucker on deck.
Actually, wouldn't they have to win 3 because they'd have to win 3 because they'd play that early game to stay alive, and then they'd have to beat the winner of this game twice. So you'd have to win 3.
I think you are right.
Yep. So you're looking at if you lose this, just to stay in it, you're looking at a triple header. I don't know if they play that.
Well, if you read the bracket,
go to
it says,
Sunday.
Yes, a game on Sunday if necessary.
Right. So you'd play a single game to stay alive tomorrow, and then you'd have to win the second game, and you'd go to Sunday.
A 3-1 pitch to Garrett Browder, swing and a miss. He may have chased a pitch down and out of the strike zone. The count 3-2. Bottom of the 6th inning, 6-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. They grabbed the lead in the 5th inning on a bases-loaded walk given to Connor Powell that brought a run in.
And other than the obvious reason why you want to win this game, that's the other obvious reason is you don't want to have to play 3 more games if you don't have to.
3-2 pitch. Fly ball, hit pretty well, left field, going back, Cade Faircloth at the wall, looking up, it's off the base of the wall, out in left field. At third base is Ferguson. They're going to wave him in. Here comes a throw to the plate. The tag. Got him. Not in time. Ferguson slides in under the tag.
I thought they had him.
I did too. First base umpire had to come down the line to make the call.
I thought he missed the plate and they got him. I'd like to see the replay on that one. Here we go. I'm watching it in slow-mo. You got him? He's safe.
All right, no argument from the Newberry dugout. But here comes the pitching coach, Banks Faulkner. That was very close at home plate.
The replay showed that he was safe. He did score, so no doubt about it.
So it's a 7-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. A double out in the left center field area by Garrett Browder.
Those of you watching on YouTube, you probably saw that replay. As you said, Banks is out talking to Bryce Peterson. It's a 7-5 ball game now. I thought there for a second that ball was out of here.
Yeah, I did too, to be honest. Yeah, I really did.
Excellent effort by Newberry to get that thing in. They almost got him at home plate, though.
Banks Faulkner, the pitching coach for Newberry, out on the mound. And Joe LaFiora is still warming up.
I think Banks was just biding his time here. When the plate umpire went out there, he finally motioned to the dugout. He was just trying to get as much time between making the call, and there is going to be a pitching change.
And I do believe this is Joe. We'll take a break, and we'll be back. That is Joe. Looks like his body. Man. Newberry brings Joe LaFiora out of the bullpen. Left-handed pitcher. He takes over for Bryce Peterson. LaFiore spent most of his career as a starter, now working out of the bullpen. You got any numbers on Joe? He's from Philadelphia.
49 innings pitched, 46 hits, 47 strikeouts. Joe's earned run average is 4.41.
LaFiore, when he's ready, will pitch to Connor Tucker. Bottom of the 6th inning, now a 7-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. They just picked up a run on a double that drove in, a double by Garrett Browder that drove in Ben Ferguson. And you mentioned that when it left the bat, Jimmy, I thought it was gone.
I did too. Well, Newberry scored 2 in the first, 2 in the second. Belmont Abbey added 5 runs in the second inning. And they're just showing us a stop photo of that plate, and he is safe. He was safe, so there's no doubt about it. Anyway, so Belmont Abbey scored 5 in the second to take a 5-4 lead. Both teams added 1 run in the 5th, and now the Crusaders have added 1 here in the 6th, and the result is a 7-5 lead for Belmont Abbey. 7 runs, 8 hits for Belmont Abbey, 5 runs on 7 hits for Newberry.
Joe LaFiore will pitch to Connor Tucker. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th, and a run is in. And Belmont Abbey has a runner at second, so they're not finished unless Joe LaFiore can shut them down. Here's Connor Tucker, the DH. Connor doubled his last time up in the 5th inning. And then was trying to steal third. And the pitch by Joe LaFiore is a curveball low for ball 1.
Insurance run at scoring position at second base for Belmont Abbey. And still nobody out.
LaFiore, the lefty, working from the stretch. Joe ready. And his pitch to the left-handed batter Connor Tucker is a breaking ball outside, and now the count 2-0. As I said, Tucker doubled his last time up and then did something you're really not supposed to do, and that's make the first or third out at third base. And he did, trying to steal third. He was thrown out by about 20 feet. Fouled back, and the count 2-1 on Connor Tucker.
And that probably went a long way to holding that to a 1-run inning from the defensive perspective.
LaFiore looking in, taking his time. Joe working from the stretch. And a 2-1 pitch to Tucker, and that hits Tucker. I believe that's number 7 that's been hit in this game.
Yep, 1 in the second.
Between both teams.
Right. 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th. And we mentioned the other, that's just the Newberry side of the coin.
But it does set up a force play or a double play. And the batter is Carter Duhame, who has walked twice and reached on a fielder's choice, so he's been on base 3 times. Nobody out. Newberry needs an out in some form right now.
Yeah, they do.
The pitch, and that almost hit Duhame. One to know the count on Carter. Garrett Browder, the runner at second. Connor Tucker on at first base. And out from the first base dugout comes head coach Russell Triplett sprinting toward the mound.
Yeah, that's a little bit different scenario than what we've seen earlier in this ball game. Of course, Joe LaFiore just coming into the game. He's only thrown 4 pitches. So I think Russell just going out there to remind these guys to stay focused. We talked about that.
And then assistant coach Jay Snyder comes out and says something briefly to the home plate umpire. Yeah,
that could be a number of things.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Russell used to make the pitching changes, but now Banks Faulkner usually goes out.
Right.
So this, I think, is a discussion, or unless he being Russell waiting for the home plate umpire to stroll out, which he does. Russell in no particular hurry to break it up. Now he does, and walks back to the first base dugout.
South Atlantic Conference Coach of the Year, Southeast Region Coach of the Year.
All righty, Carter Duhame stands back in. The count 1-0 on Carter. Left-hander working to a left-hander, 7-5 lead by the Crusaders here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And now the pitch by Joe, fouled off. That evens the count at a ball and a strike. Carter Duhame was pointing at catcher Rhett Jolly. I think he was trying to argue for interference. Well, Joe LaFiore's job is to hold it close. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Popped up, coming back, Rhett Jolly, and it's out of play.
Right on the roof.
Right on us.
That does take the count to 1-2, however. Newberry, as you said, needing an out, so maybe they can get one right here.
If Joe could strike out Duhame, obviously that'd be out number 1, and then a double play would keep this close. Right now, it's a 2-run lead, 7-5 for Belmont Abbey. 2-strike pitch to Carter Duhame. Curveball low. Most people thought it was a call, 3rd strike. Two and two the count to Duhame. And a 2-2 pitch. Fouled back. Feels like it's been a longer game, like it should be the 9th inning. But it's just the bottom of the 6th, so Newberry's got plenty of time, but LaFiore needs to hold it. 2-2 the count. And the pitch to Carter Duhame. Driven into center field, coming on, Donovan Ford makes a sliding catch. The runners have to hold, and that's out number 1.
Excellent job by Ford. Got on the horse. Had to go to the turf to get it, but he got it. That's a low line drive out to center field right there.
And when Donovan came in, the natural tendency to put that glove down, make a basket catch, he's so fast he came in and stuck his glove up, straight up.
Right.
Tough play, and he made it look easy. All right, here's Caleb Burr. Burr has popped out to first, grounded to third, struck out swinging. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Bottom half inning, number 6. 7-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. Joe LaFiore looks in. Joe out of Philadelphia, and he's ready. His pitch is outside, ball 1 to the right-handed batter, Caleb Burr. Joe pushes off on the third base side of the pitching rubber, and he's taking his time.
Took a look down to second base to get the signs there from Joe Marlugo.
Swing, fly ball to left. Cade Faircloth at the wall, and it is gone. A 3-run home run to left field by Caleb Burr. Makes it a 10-5 lead for Belmont Abbey. Scoring is Browder along with Connor Tucker, and now coming in to score, Caleb Burr just hit a 3-run home run.
That's the 3rd long ball of the night. The 2nd 3-run homer to go along with a solo shot. Todd Vallata with a 3-run homer in the 2nd, followed by Jack Boyles with a solo shot, and now a 3-run homer here in the 6th. And all of a sudden it's 10-5 Belmont Abbey.
Here's Todd Vallata, who hit a 3-run home run back in the 2nd. Newberry down by 5 runs, 10-5. Swing and a miss. And still only 1 out, Jimmy. 0-1 the count to Todd Vallata. Todd waits a pitch in the air down the right side. Henry Gibson, the first baseman, running back. Can't make the play, and the count will go to 0-2 on Todd. Well, here in the bottom of the 6th, 4 runs across for Belmont Abbey, including a 3-run home run just a moment ago by Caleb Burr. Belmont Abbey has hit 3 home runs tonight. Back-to-back home runs in the 2nd from Vallata and Boyles. And here in the bottom of 6, a 3-run home run by Caleb Burr. And the count 0-2 on Todd Vallata. Stretch, now the 2-strike pitch. Curveball in there, a call, 3rd strike. Vallata down on strikes. Catcher Red Jolly dropped the ball, but he'll throw on to first base. That is a strikeout. And it breaks up the number 9 hitter, Jack Boyles, who hit the solo home run in the 2nd. Then he hit a single in the 4th.
Yeah, when you think about it, those hit batsmen have come back to haunt the Wolves. In fact, there were 2 of those in this inning alone. So 2 of those 4 runs that have scored in this 6th inning were on base because they were hit to reach.
And 7 of the 10 runs scored by the Crusaders from home runs. They've had 2 3-run homers tonight.
Right.
Stretch, the 0-1 pitch by Joe LaFiora. Curveball down low, and the count evens a ball and a strike. 2 outs here at the bottom of the 6th inning. But here in the bottom of the 6th, Crusaders have also scored 4 runs on 2 hits. The pitch. Fastball down and in. That looked close, but it's called a ball. 2-1 the count. On the number 9 hitter, Jack Boyles. Jack waiting. 2-1 pitch by Joe. Fouled back. Boyles was hit by a pitch last season that I think fractured his wrist. He missed a lot of time. He was hit by a pitch and broke his throwing hand. That was last March in a game against Lander.
They had some other injuries, too, that were kind of weird, didn't they?
Well, Lohmeyer, tonight's starting pitcher, was warming up before a game last year, and the catcher threw back up the middle and hit the guy in the jaw. And then Lohmeyer was the comeback player of the year in the Conference Carolinas this year.
Yep.
2-2 the count on Jack Boyles. The pitch to Jack. Fouled back. Well, Newberry will have the 7th, 8th, and 9th to catch up. Should they not rally, they would play tomorrow at 3:30 against UNC Pembroke. 2-2 pitch. Soft ground ball up the middle. Second baseman Lugo to his right. Quick throw in time, and that retires the side. But in the bottom of the 6th, 4 runs on 2 hits, no errors, no one left. On to the 7th inning. It's now 10-5 Belmont Abbey. rely on kind of getting guys base to base, Jimmy, which means they need to get people on.
Number 6, Jacob LeBron.
Jacob LeBron leads off the top of the 7th inning for Newberry. It's a 10-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. The pitch to Jacob is a fastball low and away for ball 1. LeBron has been hit by a pitch, and he's also been on with a walk. And then he struck out back in the 2nd, so he's officially 0 for 1. And the 1-0 pitch by Hitchcock. That's a fastball outside the count, 2-0.
And if you just tuned in, up in Tigerville, Mount Olive defeated North Greenville 13-7 in the game they played up there this evening.
2-0 the count on Jacob LeBron. The third baseman Todd Vellotti in close. The pitch to Jacob is a fastball he takes. Now the count 2-1. Well, as I said, Newberry needs to get base runners on. The hour is growing late. It's now the 7th inning, and they're trailing by 5 runs. So if they want to get back in it, they might as well start now. The pitch to Jacob. Ground ball, base hit, left field. Little inside-out swing. LeBron is on, and it brings up Braylon Marine.
Hit number 8 for the Wolves. And you got to start somewhere from the Newberry perspective. And as you just said, they need base runners, and there they have the leadoff man aboard.
Braylon has reached on an error, struck out swinging, and grounded out to second. And Braylon stands in, right-handed batter. The pitch to Braylon Marine, curveball, strike 1. Braylon has driven in 67 runs this season. He's a right-handed batter. He waits in the stretch by Hitchcock. The pitch, ground ball, foul down the third base side off the bat of Braylon Marine.
Let's go, forward battle.
Henry Gibson, the cleanup hitter, is on deck. 10-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. The Crusaders 10 runs, 9 hits. Newberry 5 runs and 8 hits. 2-strike pitch by Miles Hitchcock to Braylon. Swung on and fouled back.
Boy, Marine fought really hard
Go forward.
at an at-bat earlier this evening. I guess it was back in the 5th to stay alive and then grounded out.
Stretch, another 2-strike pitch by Miles Hitchcock. And it is a curveball that Braylon fouls off on the first base side. The count remains 0-2 on Braylon Marine.
Yeah, he hacked, what, about 4 or 5 pitches right behind us here in his last at-bat.
Hitchcock looking in. And from the stretch, he'll make yet another 2-strike pitch to Braylon. And another foul ball. Hitchcock has yet to throw a fastball. And Braylon signaling to head coach Russell Triplett that this guy's just throwing me breaking pitches. So this might be an opportune moment for Hitchcock to try to sneak a fastball past Braylon. 0-2 the count to Braylon Marine here in the top of the 7th inning. As Newberry bats with a runner at first base. Nobody out. The pitch. Another curveball. That's low. The count 1-2. Newberry needs 5 runs to tie the game. 7 of Belmont Abbey's runs tonight have come as a result of home runs. 2 3-run home runs and a solo home run. 1-2 pitch to Braylon. Got him. Breaking ball, and Braylon knows it. He just walks back to the first base dugout. First strikeout for Hitchcock. There's out number 1, and it brings up Henry Gibson. Gibson has grounded to first and has been caught looking twice. Very uncharacteristic for Henry to get caught looking. And he's had it done to him twice tonight, Jimmy.
And both of those strikeouts were 2-out strikeouts, or what I say was the 2-out in both of those innings.
Pickoff play at first. Jacob LeBron back in safely. Jacob has stolen 20 out of 24. The pitch to Henry is a fastball down and in. And the count 1-0. Newberry doesn't have a lot of power, but Henry has some of that. He's hit 4 home runs. Gibson waiting, left-handed batter. The pitch to Henry is a breaking ball that tails away. The count 2-0.
Pretty good eye there by Gibson based on the closeness we've seen on some of these pitches.
Henry waiting as Hitchcock has what he likes. He sets the pitch, and he misses outside. Hitchcock trying to stay away from Henry, and he's run the count 3-0. Jacob LeBron edges away at first base, but he's not going to be running, at least not on a 3-0 pitch, I don't think. And a 3-0 is a fastball right down the middle. Now with the count 3-1, and more than likely Hitchcock will bring a fastball. LeBron might be off and running. Henry Gibson waiting, and here comes the pitch. It's outside, ball 4. Gibson's on with a walk. Newberry has runners at first and second. It brings up Jonathan Velez, and it also brings out from the first, or pardon me, the third base dugout, the pitching coach for Belmont Abbey. So they have a little meeting out on the mound. Didn't take long.
Jonathan Velez 0 for 3, grounded to short twice, and was thrown out 7-6-3 to end the inning, but it didn't happen until Jacob LeBron had scored before him. That was back in the 5th inning.
Pitching coach Jeff May just made a very quick walk out to the mound. There's a curveball across, and the count 0-1 on Jonathan Velez. Runners at first and second for Newberry. They're down by a score of 10-5 here in the top of the 7th. And now the stretch and the pitch by Hitchcock, the right-hander, to Jonathan. And it's a fastball on the knees. The count 0-2. Cade Faircloth is on deck if Jonathan can keep it going. And Velez certainly does not want to hit the ball on the ground that could result in a double play. Stretch, the 0-2 pitch. Curveball fouled away out beyond the first base side of the field. And the count remains 0-2 on Jonathan. Newberry scored 2 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second, and a run in the 5th, while Belmont Abbey had a big bottom of the second, scoring 5 runs, and then 4 runs in the 6th inning. Swing and a miss. Velez strikes out. That's the second strikeout by Hitchcock. And that is out number 2, and it brings up Cade Faircloth, who has singled and reached on a fielder's choice. He also has grounded out.
Yeah, he reached on the single back in the 2nd, stole a base and scored a run.
So here in the top of the 7th for Newberry, it's up to Cade Faircloth to try to pick up Jacob LeBron, the runner, at second. Stretch in the pitch to Cade. Curveball, he takes the count 0-1. Newberry's runner at second is Jacob LeBron. The runner at first is Henry Gibson. And a count of 1-0 to Cade Faircloth, the pitch. And that's low. The count 2-0. Miles Hitchcock backs off the pitching surface for a moment. And now the right-hander walks back up. 2-0 the count to Cade Faircloth. Cade waits. Hitchcock taking his time. And now the pitch. And it hits Faircloth. That loads the bases for Newberry. And I believe that's number 8.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen as many hit batsmen in one game in my life.
I think that's 8 between the two teams. So now the bases are loaded for Newberry, and the pitching coach, Jeff May, pops out of the third base dugout, walking back out to the mound. I think he's going to make a pitching change. And he is, so we've got a break in the action. And there's a new pitcher coming in for the Belmont Abbey Crusaders, and I'll tell you about him after this break. Ethan Wilson.
You know, Gary, you were talking about hit batsmen. It's actually 9. Newberry pitching has issued 6 hit batsmen, if you will, and 3 now by Belmont Abbey. So 9 hit batsmen in this ball game.
Right-hander Ethan Wilson out of the bullpen. Ethan warming up. Wilson pitched in the earlier game today, worked 1 inning against Columbus State. And so the right-hander Ethan Wilson, 6'4", sophomore from Waxhaw, North Carolina, takes the mound, and he'll pitch here in a moment to Rhett Jolly. With 2 outs, Newberry has the bases loaded, and a base hit sure would look good for the Wolves. They trail 10-5.
Yeah, keep in mind they're basically, you know, down to 7 outs here. Down by 5 runs. 1 more out to go here, and then the 8th and the 9th inning.
Wilson warming up. Bases are loaded. Jacob LeBron is at third base. Henry Gibson, the runner, at second, and Cade Faircloth on at first base.
Once again, the Tigerville region up at North Greenville earlier tonight. Mount Olive defeated North Greenville 13-7. That makes things a little interesting up there. And down here, the second-seeded Newberry Wolves finding themselves down 10-5 to Belmont Abbey with 2 out in the top half of the 7th inning. Wilson
being given a long time to warm up, but I believe he's ready. And here comes Rhett Jolly.
Of course, the Wolves have the bases loaded, Gary, so you're right. Base hit probably scores 2, and boy, if Jolly could poke a double or a triple out there, it would clear the bases of the 3 that are on there right now.
Ethan Wilson out of the bullpen for Belmont Abbey. He'll pitch to Newberry's catcher, Rhett Jolly, with the bases loaded. 2 outs. Wilson from the stretch, and his pitch to Rhett is a breaking ball low for ball 1. Top of the 7th inning, a 10-5 lead by Belmont Abbey. And right now Newberry has the bases loaded, but there are 2 outs, and the count 1-0 to Rhett Jolly. Jacob LeBron, the runner, at third. Henry Gibson, the runner, at second. Cade Faircloth on at first. And a 1-0 pitch by Ethan Wilson. Breaking ball taken to even the count at 1-1. Rhett Jolly has been hit by a pitch. He is grounded to short, and he has a single. Jolly waiting, right-handed batter. And the 1-1 by Wilson. And it hits Rhett Jolly. That will bring a run in. So LeBron will score to make it 10-6, Belmont Abbey.
And guess what? Tying run comes to the plate.
Henry Gibson moves over to third. Cade Faircloth to second. And the batter is Brody Winter. And how many hit batsmen tonight?
That's 10.
That 10?
That's 10.
Brody is 0 for 3, a strikeout swinging and a fly ball out to center and fly ball out to left. And he drives the fastball to center field, and it's caught by the center fielder, Carter Duhame, and that ends the top of the 7th. Newberry picks up a run. With 1 hit, they leave the bases loaded. Time for the 7th inning stretch. Your score, it's Belmont Abbey 10 and Newberry 6. On to the bottom of the 7th inning, Newberry brings in right-hander Kenny Miller. Miller, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th pitcher of the evening used by Newberry. And the Wolves are down by 4 runs. 10-6 is the score. And the home runs have definitely hurt Newberry tonight, Jimmy.
Yeah, no doubt. And unfortunately for the Wolves, they left the bases loaded there. With 2 out, they had the bases loaded. The tying run came to the plate. Pretty well hit towards center, but center fielder for Belmont Abbey was able to come on and make the catch to retire the side.
Here in the bottom of the 7th inning, it's going to be the top of the batting order. Connor Powell, Patrick Taylor, and Ben Ferguson for the Crusaders to face Kenny Miller. Miller, a right-hander. Warming up. The loser of this game will play at 3:30 tomorrow against UNC Pembroke. The winner would play at 7 or 7:30 tomorrow.
7 or 7:30. NCAA record, by the way, we were looking at that, 12 hit batsmen in 1 game. So we're only 2 away from that, or at least tying it.
Thank you to the producer to our right, Turner Kirby.
Correct. I don't know that that's a record we want to break, but that's the record. Not that Newberry has 12, but between the two teams.
The two.
Yep.
All righty. Connor Powell stands in. Powell has a fly ball out to right, a single. He's reached on a fielder's choice, and then he was hit by a pitch. I'm sorry, drew a bases loaded walk with the bases loaded. And he jumps on a fastball. It's hit in the air, racing over Donovan Ford. Did he make the catch? Yes, he did.
Wow. Just wow.
I mean, Ford went from center over to left center to make that catch. And there is out number 1.
Well tagged, and Ford had to gallop over to make that catch, and he hit the turf doing it.
Patrick Taylor stands. Patrick has struck out 3 times, and he's been hit by a pitch. Who hasn't been hit by a pitch tonight?
Well, so far me and you, but it's still early. Well, not early, but it's not over yet.
0-1 the count on Patrick Taylor. Actually, Taylor was hit by a pitch, and I believe he set the NCAA record, right?
He did.
He's been hit 41 times this season.
Yeah, speaking of hit by pitch records, this guy's been hit 41 times, which is a record, a single season record.
Swing a bouncer, charging in second baseman Joe Marlugo. He throws out Patrick Taylor. There is out number 2. And it's going to bring up Ben Ferguson. Ferguson, 2 singles tonight. One of those brought a run in. He's also guess what? Been hit by a pitch.
And scored.
So Ferguson stands in, left-handed batter. It's a 10-6 lead by Belmont Abbey. As the Crusaders bat in the bottom half of inning number 7, Jimmy will have the 8th inning. I'll be back in the 9th. And one of these teams is going to emerge very happy because they'll just have to play tomorrow night. Breaking ball down low, the count 1-0. Now there is that scenario, somebody's got to play 3 games.
Right. If you come out of the losers bracket, you'd have to win the first game tomorrow. Then you'd play a team that hasn't lost, so you'd have to beat them twice.
The pitch is a fastball down on the outside corner, and Ferguson went down and swings and knocks it out of play down the third base side.
So in essence, that would extend this tournament to Sunday.
Right.
When it could be over tomorrow, depending on what scenario we come out with tonight, one way or the other.
1-1 the count on Ben Ferguson with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Ferguson waiting. The pitch on the way by Kenny Miller is a fastball. That's low in the count, 2-1. Kenny looks into his windup, 2-1 pitch. And it's fouled, and Ferguson fouled it. Looks like off his left foot, and he's hurting. He does stand up.
Yeah, he went down to the turf almost face first and then gets up and kind of limps around just outside the batter's box. He'll shake that off. That had to hurt.
Ferguson takes a deep breath, and he's, excuse me, limping around. That hurt, no doubt about it. Well, I said the left foot looks like he's shaking his right foot. Got him on, being told by the producer, left knee. They've got the nice video over there. They saw the replay. Ricocheted off the bat, popped his left knee. 2-2 the count to Ben. Ben stands back in. Kenny Miller on the mound, ready. 2-2 pitch. Foul tip. The catcher, Red Jolly, can't hang on to it.
Miller, 18 1/3 innings pitched, 22 hits, 13 strikeouts. Trying to get one here to end this bottom of the 7th.
Miller into his windup, 2-2 to Ben Ferguson. Ground ball. Second baseman Lugo takes a step to his right, grabs it, throws out Ben Ferguson, and it's a 1-2-3. Bottom of the 7th. All right, let's go to the 8th inning. Jimmy's got the 8th inning. It's a 10-6 lead by Belmont Abbey.
The number 2 seed in the South hosting this tournament. Columbus State, the Cougars, eliminated earlier today. UNC Pembroke, the team Newberry beat last night, still alive with a loss. This game between Newberry and Belmont Abbey in the winners bracket. Newberry down by 4. The winner plays tomorrow night. The loser has to play tomorrow afternoon. And if winning that game, they'd have to beat the winner's bracket team twice. So that's the scenario. Newberry basically down to their last 6 outs here. If they want to stay undefeated, they're going to have 4 runs to tie, 5 to win, potentially, over the next 2 innings. And here we go, Jomar Lugo leading things off. Jomar with 2 runs batted in on a single back in the 2nd. Also picked up a single in the 4th. He walked in the 6th, though 2 for 2 plus the pass today for the Newberry second baseman Jomar Lugo. He had 2 putouts in that last inning defensively. There's a strike to him. The Crusaders with a fly out to center and then 2 4-3 putouts in that just completed inning. Wilson's pitch into the air right side. Caught in right field for out number 1 by Caleb Burr. And Lugo flies to right. 1 out in the 8th. Back to the top of the order. Here comes Donovan Ford. Donovan 1 hit and 4 at-bats tonight. That was a single back in the 1st. He also scored one of those first 2 runs in that first inning. Now the pitch. Curveball strike. Ethan Wilson on in relief. 6 pitches now for Wilson. The 0-1 pitch to Donovan. Off the plate, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. The 1-1 pitch coming up from Wilson to Ford. Here it is. Down low, ball 2, 2-1. On deck, Jacob LeBron, Braylon Marine in the hole for the Wolves. Down by 4, 10-6. Newberry's actually out-hit Belmont Abbey by 1, but the problem is 3 of Belmont Abbey's hits are homers. Curveball, inside corner strike. 2 3-run homers and a solo shot. So you got 7 of those 10 runs in 1 swing of the bat, or 3 swings of the bat, if you will. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Donovan Ford with a man out, nobody aboard. And now the 2-2 toss. Swing and right off the right side to the second baseman. The throw. Donovan Ford thought he had beat it. The first base umpire says no, he's out, and the putout goes 4-3. Nobody out of the dugout for Newberry on that call. Ian Clements coaching at first base. He's kind of walking around as if to say, man, shaking his head now. All right, here's Jacob LeBron. Jacob singled and scored his last time up back in the 7th inning. Was hit to reach and scored in the 5th. Prior to that, he had struck out and also walked and scored. So the numbers on Jacob, 2 at-bats, 1 hit, 1 walk. Strike 1 to him, 2 down, nobody on in the Newberry 8th inning. The 0-1 way outside, count evens. Should the inning remain alive, Braylon Marine is on deck. Wilson leans in to get the sign from his catcher. 1-1 delivered. Ball 2, 2-1. Now the 2-1 pitch. Fouled away to the left side, out of play. Count goes to 2-2. Two balls, two strikes, 2 men out, nobody on. Jacob LeBron, the batter for the Wolves. Ethan Wilson, the right-hander for Belmont Abbey, steps off the rubber. Time called as LeBron steps out. Back in goes LeBron. Here's the 2-2. Bouncer toward short. On the hop, the throw, and the inning is over. Newberry goes down 1-2-3 in the 8th. Nothing across. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning with the score Belmont Abbey 10, Newberry 6, and we're back in a moment. Then they had a solo shot right after that. And then, of course, the Burr 3-run homer back in the 6th. That came with 1 away in the inning. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Burr. Swinging a foul tip. One ball, 2 strikes. Ball lifted foul back of the plate against the screen. Count holds it a ball and 2 strikes. We are in the bottom of the 8th inning. Miller, the 1-2. Runners go, swung on, missed, strike free, throw down, goes into left field, and that's going to get a run home. And that is not what Newberry needed there. Well, they struck out Burr for out number 2. But as they try to throw, Newberry does. The runner coming to third out. The ball goes into left field and a run comes home to score. And that really smarts from the Newberry perspective. So now runner at second base with a run in here. It's 11-6. Here's Todd Vallada. 3-run shot in the 2nd, struck out in the 3rd, hit to reach in the 5th. Struck out in the 6th. It's a strikeout, throw him out situation there in that 6th inning. Right back up the middle, knocked down at 2nd, throw to 1st in time. Boy, really good thing there. Newberry had the second baseman slanted over toward, that's of course, Lugo had him slanted over toward the bag, and he was right where the ball came to. That ends the inning, but unfortunately for the Wolves, Belmont Abbey plates a run, and going into the top of the 9th, Newberry will need 5 runs to tie. Gary will have that for you when we come back.
All righty, top of the 9th inning. Newberry down by 5 runs. 11-6 is the score. Top of the 9th inning, Belmont Abbey 11, Newberry 6. Leading off for Newberry is Braylon Marine. Braylon 0 for 4. He did reach on an error back in the 1st inning. It's going to be Braylon Marine, then Henry Gibson, and then Jonathan Velez to face Ethan Wilson, whose first pitch is across strike 1 to Braylon Marine. Belmont Abbey 11 runs, 9 hits. Newberry 6 runs and 8 hits. And the pitch to Braylon, that's low. They count 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, that insurance run really hurt from the Newberry perspective when that run came on to score, and it all happened on a throw down to third trying to pick off there.
A loop might drop. It does. Base hit out in the right center field. Braylon rounds first, but he'll stay there with a single. And Newberry has Braylon Marine on his first base hit of the evening.
Well, as the old saying goes, you got to start somewhere.
And it brings up Henry Gibson. Henry is grounded to first. Has been caught looking twice tonight. Then he walked in the 7th. Henry stands in, left-handed batter. And the pitch to Henry is a fastball across, strike one. I would think Newberry's going to take as many pitches as they can and try to get runners on, if they can draw walks.
Obviously, they need 5 to stay alive.
The 0-1 pitch by Ethan Wilson. Pulled, foul up the first base line. The count 0-2 on Henry.
Go 15.
Henry waiting. Gibson stands pretty far off the plate. So that outside corner is vulnerable. And the 2-strike pitch by Ethan Wilson to Henry is a fastball that's down low. And the count 1-2 on Henry Gibson with Jonathan Velez on deck. One ball, 2 strikes. The count to Henry Gibson. And the pitch to Henry. He checks his swing, he holds up, and the count evens at 2-2. The appeal is made, but Henry did not go around.
Belmont Abbey does have a man up tossing in the bullpen at the moment. I wouldn't say throwing.
2-2 count to Newberry's first baseman, Henry Gibson. Braylon Marine, the runner at first. And a 2-2 pitch by Ethan Wilson. Fouled off. And the count remains 2-2 on Henry.
Newberry has had some really good at-bats tonight in keeping the at-bat alive, only to fall for naught in the long run. Braylon Marine comes to mind.
2-2. Henry grounds it softly. Charging in, second baseman Patrick Taylor. He throws out Henry Gibson. Braylon Marine will move into second, so Newberry has a runner in scoring position with 1 out. And it brings up Jonathan Velez. Jonathan, 2 singles, a ground out to short, and he struck out swinging his last time up in the 7th. 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning for Newberry. They're down by 5 runs, 11-6. And now the pitch to Jonathan. Breaking ball, he takes the count 0-1. Velez, a right-handed batter, steps out of the batter's box. Now he stands back in with a slightly open batting stance. And he waits, the 0-1 pitch. Here it is. Low, a fastball. Wilson may have caught his cleats out in the dirt on the pitching mound. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Newberry's third baseman, Jonathan Velez, here in the top of the 9th. Newberry down to their last 2 outs. The pitch to Jonathan is a breaking ball that gets away from the catcher, but Braylon Marine does not make a move. He stays at second.
Hey, here locally, just to mention that the Mid-Carolina girls softball team took 2 games from Gray Collegiate today. They have won the Upper State Championship by a score of 4-2 in Game 2. They'll start Monday in the best of 3 with Chesterfield for the state. Congratulations.
2 balls, 1 strike, the count to Jonathan. The pitch, Velez swings. He lines a fastball into left field. It's caught by Connor Powell. That's out number 2, and Newberry down to their last out.
Boy, he hit that on the nose too, but right to the left fielder.
And it's come down to Cade Faircloth. Cade is 1 for 3 with a single. He also has been hit by a pitch, so he's been on base twice. 2 outs, top of the 9th inning. Braylon Marine, the Newberry runner, at second base. And the stretch by Ethan Wilson. The pitch, fastball in tight that almost hit Faircloth.
We almost set the record there. That would have been 12.
1-0 the count to Cade Faircloth. Ethan
Actually,
Wilson. What?
That would have tied the record, I
Tied
guess, yeah.
Swing and a miss at a curveball. The record being 12 men hit in a ball game.
Right, 12 hit batsmen.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Cade Faircloth. If he keeps it going, Rhett Jolly's on deck. Now the pitch to Cade. Low and away. Nice stop by Garrett Browder. And this ball game, what, 3 hours in duration, I believe, right now.
Yeah, we're not going to get through much earlier tonight than we did last night, but maybe a little bit.
2-1 pitch. In tight, the count 3-1. Last night's game ended about 12:05 a.m. So we've got 14 plus 5 is what? 19 minutes to go.
Right.
3-1 the count to Cade Faircloth. Ian Wilson working slowly. Right-hander sets the pitch. Hit in the air by Faircloth to center field. Carter Duhame, the center fielder, makes a catch. And the game is over. It's a win. 11-6 is the final as Belmont Abbey has beaten Newberry here tonight. We'll take a break and wrap it up from the Smith Road Complex in a moment.
Your line score: 11 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, 9 men left on base for Belmont Abbey. 6 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, 9 men left on base for the Wolves. And we were just talking during the break, those long balls really hurt Newberry in this ball game tonight. 2 3-run homers and a solo shot. And as you mentioned earlier, Gary, that's 7 of those 11 runs right there.
Yep, 7 of the 11 on the home run, and that's what did Newberry in tonight. They lose 11-6, and what's the path for them now?
Well, the deal is that tomorrow Newberry will have to play UNC Pembroke, a team they beat last night. If they win, they stay alive. If they lose, of course, they're done. Let's assume that they pick up a win there, hosting this regional tournament. So if they beat UNC Pembroke, then they're going to have to beat Belmont Abbey tomorrow night, and that would force another game on Sunday. If they don't beat Belmont Abbey in the night game tomorrow night after potentially winning that game, they're going to have to win 3 to get out of this region. And on the other side of the coin, if Pembroke defeats Newberry, it's over for the Wolves, and Pembroke would have to go through that same scenario. But out of the losers bracket now, the bottom line is you're going to have to win 3 games to win the region.
And that's a tough call for any team at any moment.
Yeah, it is, especially at this level.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Jimmy, I'll let you send us out. How's that?
All right, sounds good. By the way, the winning pitcher is Lohmeyer. The loss goes to Colmo Shea. Again, the final 11-6. Thank you, Gary, and we'll see you next time out. And we'll be back tomorrow, of course, with all the coverage of the tournament games tomorrow afternoon and hopefully tomorrow night as well. For Paige Turner back at Studio Control and for Gary